Hey everybody, welcome back to Pagers and Pages, where we are medical students who read more than just textbooks. I'm Erin.
And I'm Alondra.
And this week we are diving into our second episode for Hunting Adeline. This is going to be chapters 11 through 20. So this is going to be episode 6 in our series of the Cat and Mouse Duet.
Yeah. And really quick before we start and go into our discussion, we just wanted to say this book has a lot of dark and heavy themes. And so we just wanted to warn people. There are like torture scenes. There are scenes that are like sexual assault. So please be warned before you continue to watch our discussion.
Yeah, and I think that knowing that shapes our discussion a little bit of like, I'll be pretty upfront. Like, I was taking this a lot as like coaching myself through it of like, it is a fictional book, but the reality of the fact that stuff like this happens in the real world is still a heavy thing. And it's not fiction that you can just walk away from, you know? So I think keeping that in mind, that like we are discussing a fictional book in a real world is important context. But we will do our best to like discuss heavy things and give them the credit and acknowledgement that they deserve, and because heavy things need to be discussed, but also do it in a way, we'll try and do our best to do it in a way that is the least triggering, maybe. At least I will. Or no, at least graphic, maybe. I might not be super graphic with my discussion, you know?
For lack of a better word, like,
yeah,
tasteful.
Okay, there you go.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that's also like a tough thing about the world that we live in, is just that the harder things are, the less people talk about them. You know, and then I feel like the less that things are talked about, the more power that they get. You know, it's like what's in darkness can spread, kind of thing. And I guess that kind of like segues me into like what I wanted to briefly mention before we dive into the chapters, is like, just for like a little bit of personal anecdote, is that I do a lot of like meditation. I feel like it helps me a lot with stress management and just like as an overall like coping mechanism and how I go through the world. And there was this episode that I had listened to at one point where they were talking about this idea of like curiosity versus resistance. And it's like the things that you approach with curiosity can like lead to growth, but when you're like facing something or like approaching something with resistance, it's not a growth mindset. And so then the episode really like encouraged us to like take the things that we are meeting with resistance, acknowledge them, and try and parse them apart for like, why is it that I am meeting this area of my life or this person or, you know, something like that? Why am I meeting it with resistance, and what things can I improve upon? Just as a way to be more mindful, right? And I realized that I was being really resistant to reading Addie's chapters. And I know like if you go back to the episode before this, like the first episode or first chapter where like Addie deals with any sort of assault was chapter 8. And I think I mentioned in that episode I was like kind of like reading it through like peeked or like squinted eyes, peeking through my fingers, like skimming to try and read it like quickly as a way to like kind of try and make it through myself unscathed. Okay. And as I started thinking about that a little bit, it actually kind of triggered me a little bit, in all honesty. And like, to speak freely, I did not have the best early childhood. I came from like a little bit more of a abusive and negligent situation before I moved in with my dad and my stepmom. And I always hated how I would try and talk to people about things that I went through just as like this is something that's important about me, and I feel like it shapes people's understanding of me if you understand, not in like graphic detail necessarily. Sometimes if it was someone I was a little bit closer with, but usually it was very like broad strokes of just kind of ideas of what has happened. And it always bothered me when people had like reactions kind of like, I don't want to hear this because it's making me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I was doing the same thing to Addie in this book of like, this is making me uncomfortable. I don't want to like read it. Whereas I feel like when I started to approach it with a more open mindset, it made me much more aware of acknowledging what she was going through, sitting with it a lot more, and being a little bit more contemplative about what people in the real world go through. Because the scenes are quite graphic. And I think the thing is, like, you grow up, especially as a woman, like, you hear concepts of sexual assault and like the things that happen in this book, but it's very broad strokes. And I think the being able to acknowledge the details gives their stories more power. You know, it sheds light on it and pulls it from the darkness a little bit more. So I think going into these chapters with that mindset really changed my perspective of the book if I hadn't thought about it that way.
Like your ability to read through those tough scenes.
Yes. Ooh.
Oh my god.
I guess my cat has the zoomies.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
That was just one?
Yeah, that was just one cat. He's he must have just gone to the bathroom and now he's got the poop zoomies.
Oh wow.
I don't know if other people's cats do that, but he just shot out of there like a rocket.
Oh, god. Now he's like
he said, "You guys need a good icebreaker. You're talking about heavy stuff." But yes, I don't know if you have like any other thoughts on that. But
I think it goes back to actually what you said last podcast when we were talking about being in medicine and like pelvic exams.
Yeah.
And how like everybody's like uncomfortable with like the patient being uncomfortable, but like it's like self-serving in a way. Like, I don't want to be uncomfortable, that you're uncomfortable.
Yes.
And so like I think it kind of harps back to that. And like I have always said, I've always been a person that is okay with seeing people experience, like I've never shied away from seeing people experience like negative emotions or crying or telling like really bad stories.
Yep.
And I feel like it's because I live with like some core tenets, and one of them is that grief demands a witness. And I think that when people are going through tough times, the thing to do is not look away, but look directly into it. And I think that requires a lot of strength. And it's something that actually makes a good impact when people are going through things. Like when I had a patient that had an ectopic pregnancy, and she had to have one of her fallopian tubes removed. And it kind of, when I was talking to her, she kind of disclosed to me that like everybody kept quoting numbers to her
as a way to be objective and not emotional.
Exactly. And so when I was able to sit with her and like hold her hand and look at her crying face and tell her, you know, give her information that's actually pertinent to her, like the fact that like removing one fallopian tube doesn't significantly decrease your fertility, because she was concerned about fertility in the future. And I was able to ask her really like specific questions that I could tell there was something more that was bothering her, and it was that.
Yeah. And
no one had sat down with her to tell her these things. And the only reason why I even was able to was because I was willing to look at her while she was experiencing this like, you know, this like very difficult moment in her life.
Yep.
And that's just, I think that goes with like what we're reading the book. Like there's a lot of chapters that are heavy, and you know, sometimes you have to allow yourself to really look at things even if it's tough.
Yes. And I think sometimes I hate using the word proud because it has like a tone to it. You know, like people sometimes will like hear the word pride or whatever and take it as a negative thing. But I will say, like, I feel like for me personally, like thinking about the book in this way, I'm actually quite proud of myself because I am the type. Sometimes it feels a little hypocritical to say it out loud of like knowing that I have felt negative emotions about people doing it to me, like I know that I will be the type to not always look it in the face, especially like emotional things. And so I feel like the fact that I was able to go into these chapters that way and like sit with it and be able to tell myself like that was really heavy was hard for me. You know, the impulse to like skip the pages for my own sake was strong, but I feel like there was a lot of realizations about the way that like things happen in the world and what people go through that I may not have personally and hopefully don't personally experience. I think it opened my eyes. So like, for example, the guy that I was listening to in this podcast, he was talking about how like we learn that like racism is a thing, right? We know that. And we hear people's stories of how they've experienced it, and it makes you more mindful of the way of like, this is wrong,
how
right?
it happens.
And then he said he did a VR simulator where they put him in the virtual reality and they changed, the only thing they changed about him was his skin color.
This is the Curiosity Resistance podcast?
It's the same guy, but a different episode. Okay. Different episode. Okay. And he says that
in Headspace?
No, this is Huberman Lab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
In a way, later on in that episode, he talks a little bit more about his is curiosity versus cynicism, and how the world is very cynical and negative minded instead of like curious and open minded. So similar concept, but Headspace is the one that uses curiosity versus resistance. Okay. But no, this is Huberman Lab, and he's talking about how like he goes in this virtual reality, and like it's just daily life, like. He's walking down the street. To give context, he's a white man. And then I don't remember what... I know he said that they made his skin darker, but I don't think he specified a race when he was talking about it, actually, now that I think about it.
Like they made him racially ambiguous?
I'm not sure. Because, okay, and the reason I say I'm not sure is because he's going through daily life and he gets to this, like, job interview. And he's with another person who also is, like, I guess a person of color, but not as dark as they made him in the VR. And that the person like doing the job interview only shakes the other person's hand. And like little things like that are like the microaggressions. And he comes out of it and was like, I had no idea. Like it opened my eyes in a completely different way. And I think that's how I felt about these chapters, especially because they're written from the first person perspective.
Yeah.
That you're not just a passive observer of the situations. It's like, it feels like it's happening to you, you know? So all that to be said, like, there are some humorous lines. Like, I think the author tried to intentionally insert, like, moments of humor for characters that are other perspectives to kind of maybe help.
Of life, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Of life, yeah.
And I think...
There's a lot of interesting characters that were introduced.
Yes.
Very interesting. I'm really excited to talk about them also.
And the overall plot moved very well in these 10 chapters.
Yeah, the plot was very interesting. It was very difficult to put the book down. After reading 20, I was like, I was like, I have to control myself because it's like the integrity of the podcast to not keep reading. I had to control myself.
I feel like we say that a lot, that in my head, I'm like, I don't know how it just so happens to be that we do like basically every 10 chapters except the end of the book. We finish those little odds and ends. But it seems like the heavy chapters are always in the middle of our chunks. And then the section that we end on, I'm like, dang it, I want to keep reading.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like the way that it's like...
It's just
the
structure.
Way it's set up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just so happens like before every like major plot point, we have to stop. And you're sitting there like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like all that to be said, like, it is a very heavy book. And I tend to approach things a little bit more with like, lighter, almost inserting humor at times, and I never want someone to feel like I am belittling their experience because I did sit very heavy with a lot of this stuff. It's just the way that I cope, you know? And so some of that humor will probably be conveyed in this episode, just like fair warning that that's what I'm coming to it. That's my perspective, you know?
Yeah. And they're all small victories. There are
Yes.
some small victories.
And then
in
we
this
start to
plot
get some
point.
big victories
And then
too.
Yes. And then you're like, yeah, we have a lot to discuss.
We do have a lot to discuss.
All right,
let's dive in. Yes. Okay. And I will also preface that I usually do like individual chapter notes, but I went to, and usually the way that I do them, because I use my iPad, is I put on the little microphone and I like I dictate them. But I went home to visit my family when I was reading these chapters, and my brother is 11.
Oh, you can't say that stuff out loud.
I know, I was like, there's no way that I can dictate these notes, so I kind of just decided to read. That way he also didn't ask, like, what are you writing notes about?
Yeah.
Because I don't need the 11-year-old being like, what are you reading? And then he like sees something on my page and I'm like, oh, I wasn't ready for you to like know about that part of the world just yet.
You don't want to describe that.
I want him to have his childlike innocence for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in all honesty, especially after reading this book. Like there's just a lot of bad things in the world and he knows nothing of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just, you know, have you ever heard the Taylor Swift song Never Grow Up?
No.
It will make you cry, because at least for me, okay, maybe it won't make you cry, but it makes me cry all the time because of him.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically just like, stay like a sweet little innocent child. Like the real world, like kids are always like, I want to be an adult. I can't wait till I live on my own and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no. Enjoy the bliss of being a little kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel, especially after reading this book. I'm like, oof, like, yeah. So anyway, chapter 11.
Chapter 11.
The Hunter.
Yes, I live for Zaid's chapters.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I don't know like why necessarily, because he's not giving us a lot, at least at this point, he's not giving us a lot like plot-wise.
I think the plot moves more with him though than with Addie.
Yeah.
Because the nature of the situation Addie's in, she's being kept in the dark about a lot of stuff. So in turn, we are kept in the dark.
Yes.
Whereas what Zaid does, we know.
And we get information.
So we get
him.
more information. Yeah. It's like Addie's chapters were like sitting in it with her.
Yeah.
Whereas Zaid's chapters were like,
it's faster moving. Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like I'm in like more of an action movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So chapter 11 is a chapter where he finds the building where Addie was first taken to after the car accident, where we saw Dr. Garrison.
Yes.
Yes, where we see Dr. Garrison, and he like comes in and he like finds Garrison's body.
Yeah.
And it is like a week or 3 weeks later. There's big time jumps in this book.
At this point, it's a week after he's been killed.
It's a week later, so it's like a decomposed body, like a week after. So very gross. Like he describes it being like horrible smell. And so him and Jay are actually investigating this building, which I have to say, like I really enjoy getting more of Jay.
I do too.
And his relationship with Zaid, I feel like he's trying to anchor him, but it's like trying to anchor like a giant dragon. So it's like tough, but like I enjoy the fact that we get to like meet Jay as a character.
Yes.
And then I feel like the biggest thing that we get from chapter 11 as far as plot goes is that Jay hacks into the cameras.
Yep.
And they're able to see like everything that was like happening in the building.
Yep.
And as we know, Dr. Garrison was a perv.
Yes.
And then we get kind of like our first real lead. He's able to see what happened with him and Addie, and was able to see Rick and Rio and all that. But for whatever reason, they start reviewing footage that's like months or weeks or whatever before.
Years, yeah.
And they come across this guy with like tattoos and a man bun who brought in a child. But it stood out to Zaid because unlike the other people that were coming in who were like human traffickers or like in the black market, this man walked in with this girl who had been shot. And the level of care that he was giving to this little girl was unlike like other people that went through. So it was, does he know this little girl? Who is this guy? Is this little girl being trafficked? Is this guy just somebody who found her? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, because she's like 5 or 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he has the thought of, I don't know how, but this specific piece of footage is gonna be important somehow. And he tells like Jay, like, figure out who this guy is. And then of course we get like Zaid going on a like rage in the building because, you know, Addie was there, and he decides that he's gonna send a message, and he decides to light the building on fire.
Loved it.
Yeah, and throw Dr. Harrison's body, like tie it up and like throw it over a window, and then like light him on fire, like his body on fire.
It was very much the like, I am sending a message, a very clear message, because it was not only did he burn the building down, but he like hung the body out the window, and then separately from burning the building, chose to then light his body on fire.
Yeah. It was very V for Vendetta. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've heard of it, but no, I haven't seen it.
It was very symbolic.
Yes.
Like, it was I'm coming for you and you're gonna burn.
Yes, because he also told Jay, like, you're gonna turn on the cameras after I've busted the window to get the body to hang out the window. He was like, after that, you are to turn on the cameras and you're posting this video all over the dark web.
Yeah.
Which was his way of being like, every person that was involved with everything that went on in this building, I'm coming for you.
It kind of feels like, you know the song, the Freddy Krueger song? Have you ever heard of it?
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Yes.
That's what it feels. It feels like Zaid is saying, like, 1, 2, Zaid is coming for you.
Like slow stalking out of the building. Yeah, and you're right. That's like, so in that sense, like, we didn't really learn much other than the fact that, like, okay, now he knows, like, yes, Addie was there. He knows what Addie went through. He also knows what Dr. Garrison did to, like, all of the like other people that were unconscious in his makeshift hospital. And then now, and that was part of what like also added to his rage is like seeing the videos that Jay found of like everything that was going on to the other patients.
The injustice.
And then I think the only other piece of info that we got that we didn't really touch on yet was the fact that he sees Rio in the footage. And we get a little bit more info about Rio, that Dea had been doing her research, and like there was tons of info on Rick, which is the guy that Max had explicitly hired to like take Addie, and then Rick had kind of like side hired Rio, you know, to help him. And Dea like couldn't really find hardly anything on Rio. Other than the fact that like he's Puerto Rican, he came to the U.S. at like a pretty young age, and then
him being Puerto Rican, I was like, because I feel like Puerto Rico is like so like everybody's talking about Puerto Rico because of the Bad Bunny Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, but for all we knew right now, he was just like a generic guy. Hispanic.
Yeah,
like that's it.
Yeah.
So now we're like, oh, he's Puerto Rican. So now like I don't know if this happens to you, but his accent, I can actually give him an accent now.
See, I don't know enough of like different Spanish dialects to be able to assign. I can, because of one of our friends being Puerto Rican, I can kind of like some of the consonants that get blended a little bit differently. Like I can kind of picture that or like imagine them, but probably not nearly to the same extent as you.
Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, I have a better picture of what Rio looks like.
Yeah. And just like the fact that he had like 2 speeding tickets and like an apartment that he rents, and like other than that, with
He's
as good
ghost.
With as good as Dea is, like she could not get any other info on him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I felt like at that moment I was like, that's important, but I don't yet know why that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I feel like that was a pretty good synopsis of like chapter 11. I think the thing that brought me a lot of joy is the fact that like whenever he would drop a cigarette butt starting in this chapter, all he heard was Addie's voice. Because in book 1, in Hunting Adeline, he's like outside her house and he like drops a cigarette butt on the ground and she's like, stop littering. And now every time he puts out a cigarette,
It's nice.
He can't leave it.
Her.
Yeah, he can't leave it on the ground now. He like has to pick it up.
Yeah. It's nice that he hears her because she hears him.
Yes, exactly. I think they had a bit of a deeper connection than book 1 let on. Or like that we got to see, maybe. And maybe this is them realizing it, and that's why we didn't get as much of it in book 1, is that this is them like, I mean, yes, we always knew from Zaid's perspective that like he was on the hook.
Yeah.
But like, especially from Addie's perspective, like every time she hears his thoughts, I'm like, oh.
And we say, and we definitely like, somewhere, I don't know what chapter it is, but somewhere along the lines, there's the sentiment of, I should have told him I loved him.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I don't know what chapter that was in, but it happens in these chunks.
I remember making a note of that also in chapters 1 through 10. So I think it's kind of a repeating regret, expression of regret. No, but you're right. It kind of gets reiterated of that, like, but I also live my life that way where like when I love people, like I freely tell them that I love them. And because I just am never the type that I don't ever want to regret thinking that people didn't know that I love them. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And so feeling her like go through that, I'm like, no, yes, I understand what you're feeling. That regret is really heavy because she also doesn't know if she's going to make it out of this. She really doesn't. Yeah. Like, yes, she has the hope that Zaid will help her. Yeah. But, I mean, she also is very realistic about the fact that she's in a house in the middle of nowhere and has been moved multiple locations.
It's hard to keep hope alive.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about chapter 11 is now the notes at the end of the chapter are from Addie. Yes. Did you notice that she does the lipstick like Gigi did?
Yeah, she does.
She puts a little lipstick print.
Yeah.
Yes, but we get a note from Addie at the end of this chapter, which is like they were doing a training for the culling, which is that where they like let the girls loose in the woods and the men that are the like auctioneers, they hunt them.
Yeah.
So many notes on that for later when we get to chapters that have more info about it. But they were doing kind of like a practice run where Francesca, the like madam of the house, is like kind of shooting them with like blunt arrows.
Yeah.
And Addie's like super like, I was doing great, I was getting away. And Sydney
comes out of a tree and trips her. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the first like insight that we get. Not
if you had a camera on me at that moment, I think I went, this bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, yo, you guys, like, you're suffering.
Your enemy.
You're exactly.
Why make it worse for each other?
Exactly. They are like suffering a similar fate. Like, why make it worse for each other? But we get Addie's note like that she is like pissed about Sydney tripping her. And the fact that it also like makes her look less like capable. So they say that part of this culling thing is like those who are strong enough to survive are like the ones that we keep alive, kind of thing.
Like you have to have. They specifically say you have to have endurance.
Yes,
it's like to test endurance and. Well, I have stuff to say like when we actually get to culling, like certain things that are said also. Yeah,
but where I'm going with it, at least for right now, is in this note that she's like, it's ruining like Francesca's perspective of me that I got caught.
Yeah,
you know, which it just adds like a whole nother layer to it of like not only is this girl who is like another girl in the house is like sabotaging her, then now it's also gonna make things worse for Addie because the madam is gonna be like mad at her too for getting caught.
Yeah.
So I read that note and was just like, like, why is this happening? You know? So yeah. And now we jump into chapter 12, which picks up with basically the context of Addie's note.
Yeah.
Which is like, how does it's Sydney being like, like you failed, like you're no better than the rest of us.
Cause Sydney cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
You know, I think, though, that you were pretty spot on in the last episode that she's not fully cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
She's strategic.
She is strategic.
She's not like, she's not like, she's not broken.
It's a choice, kind of.
She has, she's choosing. And I feel like if we had more backstory, we would understand. But it kind of makes it seem like she's living in the world and doesn't have anybody.
Yeah.
So she's chosen this to be her home.
Yeah.
And so there is like a certain, like she's she is strategically, I don't want to say like demented, but she's like strategically
acting out of pocket.
Yeah, she's strategically acting crazy, but she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yes, it is not uncontrolled, I guess.
Yeah. She's choosing to be, and there's like little things as we go on that display that, but she's choosing to be that way.
Yeah.
Not because she actually is that way, but because she enjoys like the reaction she gets from other people from being that way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's like a way that she like gets noticed. Power. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
She holds on to her power that way.
Yes. And the conversation between Sydney and Addie is that basically we learn from Sydney that Addie is like being highly favored. And which we already kind of knew that they were treating her different because she's like so valuable to them, like because of her relationship to Zaid. But she really is like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, you acted out of line, which we're talking about what happened in chapter 8 when she tried to stand up for Bethany getting her mole cut out of her face. Like, Addie, like, stepped out of line and spoke up about it. And yes, like, she is assaulted for that by Rocco. But Sydney is like, Francesca almost intervened. Like, we saw her, like, step to intervene, and she has never done that, even remotely for any other person. And then not only that, but you broke his nose.
Yeah.
And Francesca, like, took the beating for you from Rocco. Like, she's being very... When we learn that, you're like, oh, like, they are treating her different. Or at least Francesca is treating her different. And we... also get a little bit of like, well, that really bothers Sydney. And it bothers Sydney because it puts her at a disadvantage that they're trying to now like sell her out of the house.
Yes, because we got the added information that Sydney's actually been there for months.
Yeah.
And Francesca's upset by that because they've been trying to get Sydney to get out because it looks bad on Francesca as a madam that this girl isn't like ready.
Yeah, exactly. And she's kind of like, well, why do you want to stay here? Like, this makes no sense. Like, you get abused in this house too. And Sydney's kind of like, well, I've made it. I think you were talking about it when we were talking about the like going with Dr. Garrison versus going with Rick and Rio. It's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. I think Sydney's very much like, I've learned how to cope with the evil in this house kind of thing. And I've made it my home. And there's
she knows that there's worse out there.
Yes. But I don't think we learn about like anything about her personal life in this chapter, do we? That's later on.
We don't actually end up really knowing a lot about Sydney.
Well, okay, I guess in this somewhere in this 10 chapter chunk, we also learned that she firmly believes that there was no one looking for her.
Yeah.
And so Addie kind of is like, oh man, like, was her life like on the streets with like random men, you know, like what kind of life did she have before this? And it I think it truly goes back to that. It's the devil, you know.
Yeah.
Which I know that Sydney is acting very crazy and doing things to Addie that make me really want to hate her, but at least in that moment I felt for her.
Yeah, it's funny I say this because I have a certain level of empathy for Sydney.
Yes.
But that empathy quickly runs out very quickly.
Yes, it does.
Like real fast.
It does. I feel like that's the interesting thing about her character is that when you know even that tiny little snippet of backstory, you have the ability to empathize. And then she does some out-of-pocket stuff and you're like, well, there goes that. I don't know that I feel the same way anymore.
I think I stopped having empathy for her like in this chapter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so then what else do we have in this chapter?
Is this the chapter with Francesca's broken shoes?
Oh.
I feel like it has to be.
Yes, it is.
I literally wrote chapter 12, Sydney needs to die.
Yeah, okay, so yes.
So I ran out of empathy really fast.
Yes, so there's like this scene. Francesca is like going through like training with them, like teaching them to be submissive. And like Addie... We know Addie is a strong-willed woman who does not always want to be submissive. So Francesca is like working with her a little bit more on that, and one of the things that she does is like she makes her like bend down and like kiss her shoe and lick her shoe. And like this house that they live in is really dirty, and like you just know that there is very bad stuff on that shoe. Like that made it made my skin crawl just from the like germ perspective, let alone the degrading nature of it. And Addie, you can tell by her body language that she's like resisting, but she complies.
Composed.
Yeah, she does it.
She composes herself and does it, and well, she kisses the shoe, and then Francesca's like, lick the shoe, and then she licks the shoe. And the reason why Francesca makes her lick the shoe is because she had a moment of hesitating to kiss the shoe.
And she's basically like, hesitate again, and next time I'll kick your teeth in.
Yeah.
Which I was like, whoa.
Which is also like, okay, she would be less valuable to you.
I know. Like, I feel like I have a hard time with some of the threats that they make. Yeah.
It's like, okay, like, she's the diamond, she's like important, but then you're like, I'm gonna maim you, and you're like,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
I know. I go back and forth with like, because I think because we've seen like what they did to Bethany cutting like her mole out of her face, that I'm like, oh well, they definitely will do it.
Unreasonable.
Yeah, like, exactly.
I know it's silly for me to say that they're unreasonable, considering that they're criminals and like sex traffickers.
Yes, I know.
It's kind of like the goal, which is something that I wanted to bring up. You know, there's organized crime. Like, there's a sophisticated level of organized crime going on. But also, like, these people are like not sophisticated. Like, they're kind of
low
like,
IQ.
Yeah, they're kind of like garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying like kind of. It's like I'm trying to be polite about calling them absolute human trash. Because that's what they are.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like the lowest of lows. And I like something that I don't understand about this book is like the girls get punished by being sexually assaulted by Rocco and his friends. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rocco and his friends are like drug users.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand is these girls are being sold off to really like not important, but like wealthy men. Yes. Why would wealthy men want like to expose themselves, like in the sense of like disease wise?
Yes.
You know,
we are in the medical field, so it crosses our mind.
I'm just thinking about it disease wise. I'm not trying to say that like because something happens to you, your worth is like different. Not at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is disease wise.
Yeah.
Because there's no way. Like these guys definitely need to like have something. They could probably have hepatitis B, hepatitis C. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I was gonna say at least like gonorrhea or chlamydia, but at least those are like you give them an antibiotic and you're all right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about like they like for sure they have to have some kind of like hepatitis C, hepatitis B, heaven forbid like AIDS, HIV. Like, and I'm sitting here like I don't understand why these girls that are like considered it's like they're bruising product.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. That's why I'm like, they're like,
it makes no sense.
Not only are they human trash, but they're also stupid human trash.
Yes. And I think my thought too was kind of like, so like Mark was a senator and like the three guys with him were senators. Like it sometimes slips of like obviously medical information is protected, but like, could you imagine the news story breaking of like a married senator who preaches certain values potentially, and then they're like, oh, he was diagnosed with this like STD, and you're like, well, his wife didn't give it to him, so like what is he doing? And then it blows like everything, you know, like you would think that the people who are buying these girls have an image to upkeep and would therefore want no risk.
Like, in my opinion, like, and you know, I could just be totally wrong, but I would think that, yeah, because what the heck do I know?
Yeah.
But right. I would think that, like, if they're in this, like, transition house, that they're actually not touched in this transition house because they're being prepped for, like, being sold.
It's like, yeah, it's like, I mean, it's kind of the same of, like, I don't know, like, buying you buy something that's in like
it's just like
she makes the analogy of an apple. Like you go to the grocery store and you don't pick up the apple that's bruised, you pick up the one that's not.
Yeah, so I just don't understand if they are so valuable. why are they allowing the like the men in the house to freely take advantage of them? You know what I
Yes,
mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and that partly makes me think that there is something that, like, you hinted at it before, of like, what is Francesca's story?
Mm-hmm.
That she is not, like, how much is she actually in charge versus she's kind of like there, but if she steps out of line against like Rocco or his friends, like, she's gonna be right down with the other girls
Yeah,
too.
like the hierarchy is that she chose the line.
Yes.
And like the people who she has power over are the girls, not the men.
Not the men, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. And the men they're doing their drugs and they're for a good time. You know, they don't care as much about the outcome of price, you know, is what it seems. They're just, you know, they're in it for themselves a little bit more. But yes, I definitely, there's the things that they do
don't make sense.
They don't make sense, especially this chapter now.
Yes.
So we had the prefacing the situation with Addie hesitating with the shoe. Addie's like in her room. They keep, all the girls are in their like separate rooms. They don't share rooms. So Addie's in her own room, like eating her dinner. And here's Francesca full on start like rage screaming and brings up like a broken shoe. What I'm envisioning is like a nice like stiletto and the heel is like snapped off of it. Yeah. And is like screaming at Addie like, you've been doing so well, like why would you do something so stupid and blah blah blah. And then she divulges that like all of her shoes are ruined, and it seems like Francesca's thing is that she likes her shoes. Yeah, she likes her shoes. And the I just don't, again, I don't understand the mentality of the punishment being like physical punishment when they are to be sold, because then Francesca like uses the broken stiletto and like abuses Addie with the broken stiletto, which I was not at all expecting. That one was really hard for me to read, not gonna lie at all. As I think the thing that made it especially hard is we know Addie didn't do that to her shoes.
Yeah, it was a big injustice, and Addie is continuously saying, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. And Francesca's just like not having it.
Just like raging.
Yeah, just like raging at her, and like there's like no care, like there's no care to find out the truth. It's just about like punishing someone.
Yes.
And it's like she really didn't do it.
Yes. It's like vengeance, but incorrectly placed vengeance. Like, yeah. I feel like there is a certain tact of like, I'm just going to rage, and like whoever is the one that receives it, I'll feel better after I've raged. Whereas other people are like, no, like the person who wronged me will get what's coming to them. And it's more like targeted, you know? So yeah, sorry, I kind of cut you off there. I don't remember why.
No.
Okay.
I mean, that like continued the thought.
Yeah.
It's just like, again, something that makes like no sense. But again, like these people are living in this like basically a trap house.
Yes.
With a bunch of drugs. Like,
yes.
Nothing's gonna make sense.
And then we learn like Sydney comes in and is like, she kind of like bear hugs her on the floor because Addie's like bleeding and in pain and like kind of also trying to wrap her head around like what the hell just happened,
because it all happened so fast
and for no reason. Exactly. And
she's like, I didn't even do it.
Exactly. And we basically like, it's not explicitly said, but it's insinuated that Sydney's the one that broke the shoe. Yeah.
And that's when I wrote Sydney needs to die.
But it's like so Sydney like wraps herself around her and is like, shh, like, welcome home, like we'll be together now. And I was like, oh, she's trying to purposely piss off Francesca to damage Addie to the point where she can't leave, because if Addie doesn't leave, then Sydney doesn't leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're being so manipulative and I hate you, but like on the one hand I know you're trying to survive, and I feel for you, but you're abusing Addie now.
I stopped feeling for her.
Yeah, I think that was
like, Sydney's not a girl's girl, automatic straight to jail.
And this was
straight to jail.
I think I was giving her grace until this point.
Yeah, until this point. Yeah, like, because tripping somebody, okay, yeah, you tripped them, but this, like, the abuse that Addie suffers from this is like cruel and unusual punishment.
Yes.
Very like deplorable. So because on top of Francesca abusing her, then Rocco comes in and also abuses her as well.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, you know what, Sydney,
I can't.
you're done.
You're
done.
Yes, exactly.
You're not
it was
gonna
just
find any sympathy from me.
ridiculous. And now Addie's note really like broke my heart at the end of this chapter, because she's kind of talking about like when things like don't leave scars, or you like it doesn't leave a physical feeling, sometimes you can like forget or like be able to let yourself forget trauma that you've endured. But she's basically like, when you're in so much pain,
the pain is like, it just slowly fades, but
yes,
you never know the day that you stopped feeling the pain.
Yeah, and it just, I felt like this note was where I really started feeling Addie slip.
I think I think what happened to her was like,
because
just like,
yes, because I think even like when Rocco assaulted her in chapter 8, that was definitely awful, but Addie was kind of like, bro, like, you were stupid and open your mouth. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? This totally,
this
like,
cruel and unusual punishment.
And for what? Like, Addie did nothing.
Yeah.
And I think that was where Addie was kind of like starting to like
because
slip.
Things don't correlate.
Yeah.
You being good does not correlate to you making it out unscathed.
Exactly.
So that starts to break you down.
Yes.
Like mentally.
Yes. And I think she was kind of holding on to the hope of like, if I
do everything correctly, then I'll make it out like relatively unscathed.
Yes, because Francesca doesn't want to. Like, I think she was kind of holding on to the fact that like she is valuable, and thought that not made her like invulnerable, but it kind of made it like, oh, they're like, they won't do like unnecessary, or like, I don't want to say unnecessary, like unprovoked things, maybe. You know, like she kind of, it was like her mentality was like, yo, if you would just like sit down and keep your mouth shut and keep your head down and do what they want, like no like undue harm will come. I think she was kind of clinging to that a little bit, and this just shattered that.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
And I think for us as the reader, it also shattered that.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was in this chapter where she mentions this, or maybe if it's in another chapter. But basically, she says, like, you know, like a couple days later, Francesca finally acknowledges that it probably was Sydney, the one who broke the heels, and not Addie.
Yeah.
And she doesn't she doesn't even apologize to Addie, which is like, you know, she's not going to apologize because she's like a criminal.
No, the answer was to then abuse Sydney.
Yeah, like they punished Sydney. Oh yeah, they punished Sydney by locking her up for like 3 days in a cellar. Yeah. But like Addie specifically mentions like, and she doesn't even apologize, which is like, well, I didn't expect her.
She's a degenerate. What did you think? Yeah,
I didn't expect her to, per se.
Oh, sorry, buddy, I spooked you.
Oop,
knock over my cup.
But yeah, it honestly, that part was kind of like growing up when it's like your parent does something wrong and you're like, you didn't do it, and then they're like, ah! And then like days later they finally apologize, or they don't. For me, it was always like more so like after like being yelled at for something that was like kind of ridiculous. It's like how was school? Do you want me to serve you dinner now? Yeah, and you're just sitting there. You're like sitting in your room, like, meh.
Yes,
and they're just like,
they're trying to work.
Like, are we not gonna talk about this?
Yeah, they're like trying to work their way back into your good graces, and I'm like, bro, but you're the one that hurt me. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. No, I definitely think that this was, and even if Addie had broken the shoe, the crime did not fit the punishment did not fit the crime.
I mean, no punishment here ever fits the crime.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Yes, but I think this chapter actually, like, I guess to disclose like a little bit of like our journey reading it, like this chapter was the one that like hurt me the most, as far as the like, yes, I'm trying to be intentional and mindful and like in the moment reading it and like letting myself sit with what Addie's going through in acknowledgement. But this was like, I read it because I like to read before bed. And so like I read this and I laid in bed awake for like an hour and a half, almost like stewing on it, you know? That I couldn't let it go. I could not. And finally I turned on my little meditation app and like tried to like soothe myself with it and was finally able to fall asleep. But this one was
tough.
This one, yes, I had a hard time with this chapter. Yeah. But at least then we flashed to Zaid's perspective. And I feel like his perspective at least gives me like, even though he is like following on the trail of bad things, I feel like the interactions with Jay or like his little bits of humor give me a little bit of like a breath of fresh air that I'm like, okay, like I can breathe for a second.
Chapter 13 was, I think, pretty fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you kind of had started to talk about these people that he sees on the camera in chapter 11.
So basically, Jay finds out who these guys are, or who this one guy is, and his associates. And it turns out that these guys deal with procuring organs on the black market. Yeah. And the thing is that Jay finds different forums of people actually talking about them, and people actually like, it's like when you go, the first level is like, they're these big bad guys that are like, you know,
don't mess with them.
Stealing organs, don't mess with them. But then
killing people for organs
and stuff. And then there's like this like forum that's like really like low key.
It's like a subreddit on the dark web.
Yeah, and people, ooh, I got a whiff of his breath.
He's got stank fish breath, and I don't know what to do about it. Because the vet always says his teeth are like, his dental hygiene is good. He's just got stank fish breath.
You need to drink water. Anyway, and so Jay finds this forum, and in the forum, people are saying like, "Oh, these guys like, it's like his name's like Riker, and then there's who
Case, Dare, Daire. I don't know how to say that.
I just say I don't know how to say that either.
And then Slade.
So it's Riker, Slade, Case, which I read as Casey.
Oh, it is probably Casey.
You think so? It doesn't have a Y at the end.
You're probably right, though.
That's how it's probably pronounced.
Yeah, you are probably right.
Well, every time he gets up, it's like, I just don't want him to take out his claws and
I
pinch
know
me.
He's very disrespectful with his claws, even though a lot of times he doesn't mean it. He just like doesn't know how to
retract them.
Yes. Anyway,
but so the word on the street is that they're actually not bad guys. So then Zaid is like, interesting. And so he tells Jay, like, let's track them down.
So like 14 ended where they're in the culling and like running. Let's see.
Oh gosh, really? Like the culling.
Yes.
Wow. My stomach just did a somersault.
Yeah, because this is where Phoebe's like, I can't run anymore. I can't do it. I'm exhausted. And she ends up getting the guy Ben like caught in the net that she knew was there and takes his crossbow and kills him. And then that gave Addie enough time to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow,
it cut off at like such a crazy spot.
Yeah.
Well, you know?
Well, what's crazy is like I haven't read this book in like 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
And like you telling me that from that chapter made my stomach do a somersault and my pulse like go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this was definitely like an intense like adrenaline scene.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy, like Phoebe, it makes me so sad that Phoebe's like, I'm dead anyway. And now that like we know what's coming, I wonder if Jillian had told Phoebe like what happens if you get caught.
Oh yeah.
That's why Phoebe was like, oh, I'm dead anyway.
Yeah.
So like I might as well
take one out.
Make a statement, and take somebody out. Okay. So we go into chapter 15, and so Addie like realizes that Phoebe let her like get away.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So she's like running, trying to get to the point where they know is like outside the maze to say like, oh yeah, you've like escaped. And she gets there and she finds an abandoned train.
Yes.
In that space that like nobody knows is there. And she's thinking like, oh my God, like I could escape. But she kind of chooses to play it a little smart, which I appreciate, that she was like, okay, if I don't go back right now, they'll find me. Like if I just try and like hide in the train now or follow the train tracks now, they'll come looking for me because the culling is over, and then I won't actually get away.
She won't have time to put distance between them. Yeah,
exactly. So she kind of pockets the idea of like, oh, like there's a train here, maybe I can possibly use that.
Which I understand in the book and book logic.
Yeah,
she did that. In real life, that must be such a difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if that's the last time you're going to see that train.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that is such a hard decision to decide on.
Yeah.
Because who knows if she would have been able to get out of the house to see that train again.
You know, and I don't know what decision I would have made.
I don't know either.
I feel like it would have depended on how exhausted I felt in the moment. Because I wonder if I actually would have chose to run away in that moment simply because I was high on adrenaline and would have felt like, oh, I could keep running. I could keep going, you know? Because, I mean, after just seeing Phoebe get caught and shoot that guy, like, and then she's running, knowing that Xavier's, like, hot on her tail, I don't know. I might have chose to run, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have chose to hide in the train.
Yeah. Because then that would have been a guaranteed...
Like, they're going to find me. Yeah. But I might have chose to, like, follow the train tracks.
Yeah.
And run.
Because they don't necessarily know, or do they know? I can't remember if they had cameras in the maze.
If they did, I don't think they told us.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they did, I know the guys had, like, the night vision goggles. Yeah, but I don't think there were cameras.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, in the time that Addie would have been making a split decision... then she sees somebody there.
And that would have,
And it turns out,
know,
and you don't know if it's one of the guys.
Yeah.
So it turns out that it was one of the girls.
It was Jillian, right?
Yeah, it was Jillian. So yeah, she's like, they're basically like, okay, now it's time for us to like go walk back to the house. And Jillian says like, I think I know how to get back, but if not, they'll come get us. Yeah. So that kind of is the like, okay, yeah, there's no like running away right now.
No.
So they start kind of like chitty chatting about the culling, and Jillian's basically like, no, you only go through it once. Because Addie was like, so have you gone through it multiple times like Sydney has? Like, is this your first time? And Jillian was like, no, Sydney's the only one that has gone through it multiple times. Like for the rest of us, that's like you go through it once.
Yeah.
And Jillian starts to tell her that she had witnessed other girls go through it. And she says, I also witnessed everything that happened after. Look, you need to prepare for, and like gets cut off because then Xavier finds them and like starts escorting them back to the house. And so Jillian was about to tell her something about what happens after the culling that Addie has like no idea what's about to happen.
Yeah. And that left me super intrigued. I was like, oh, God, what's going to happen? Because, you know, you go through this thing, you think it's going to be, like, the worst of it, and then somebody tells you you need to prepare for, and it's like...
like, what do I need? Yeah.
For what?
Like, yeah, like what could possibly be worse? I mean, you know, I feel like one of the things that would top my list of terrible experiences would be, like, you get to run in the woods in the dark where there's booby traps everywhere and you're being hunted by someone with literal crossbows, not even like dummy bows, you know, like literal crossbows that can kill you. And not only that, but they have the advantage of having night vision goggles and you don't.
Yeah.
Like, if I were in that moment and then Jillian started to say something like that, I'd be like, what do you mean it gets worse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, though, I just love this aside where Xavier's kind of like chatting them up, walking back to the house, and like, oh, I'd love to escort you if you guys want. And there is Addie's thought is literally, no, go away, you have cooties. That was like a little like insertion of humor that actually really got me.
Yeah.
But
also like,
yeah,
gross, he probably does have cooties. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. I'm trying to look at what I bookmarked here. Oh, so they get back to the house and it's like slowly everybody else is like making their way out of the woods. And like Sydney comes running out and she's perfectly fine. And I thought it was funny that Addie was like, oh, of course, like she lives and has like no injury. But then again, like Sydney has the advantage of having done this multiple times. Yeah. And they bring Phoebe out though. And like you can tell that Phoebe is like nervous, like she's pale and she's in a lot of pain from like getting caught. But I like that Addie says like, oh, she forced me into saving her, then turn around and save me instead. Because remember, Phoebe was like,
she was like a liability in the beginning.
Like panicked, like take me with you kind of thing.
Don't leave me.
And then
it ended up, it's kind of like how like little moments of like humanity kind of like helped Addie survive this, you know, because if she hadn't befriended like Jillian, she hadn't like, you know, taken Phoebe, then she basically would be dead. Yeah,
exactly. It's hard because you have that moment that we talked about several chapters ago where they're going to cut the mole out of Bethany's face, and Addie's thought process is like, so like I get attacked for standing up for her, and she still gets the mole cut out. So like what's the point of like sticking my neck out for someone? And so I love that she, even though she had that terrible experience with Bethany, she didn't lose that part of herself, and she still like protected Phoebe, and it ended up saving her too, you know, like not that she did it with the intention of it being mutually beneficial, but it ended up helping her in the end. So and we get to like Francesca realizing how many people got hit with arrows, and it was 2 of them. It was Phoebe and Bethany, I think was the other one. Yes, and Bethany were the ones that got hit with arrows this time. And in my head, I was like, dang, like 2 of them got hit. That's a lot. That sucks. And Francesca was like, only 2. That's wonderful news. In my head, I'm like, how many times have they done this where like maybe none of them
come back? Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like that's terrible to think of. And then we get to the part where Francesca's like, you guys deserve a reward.
And then this bitch Sydney is like, can we get McDonald's? Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like if you were like on death row and someone was like, what do you want your last meal to be? Like, who in their right mind can't get
McDonald's? I know.
Are you serious? Like, that's so freaking gross.
I know. Like, that's gonna tear, especially with as little as they've been eating.
It's gonna destroy your stomach.
Yeah.
How horrible.
I know. And
then they don't even get a second vote.
No.
Like, she just, like, Francesca just, like, runs with it. And I'm like, girl.
I know. I thought that was absolutely terrible, that they were getting McDonald's of all things. And so basically then we learn Francesca is like, okay, so yeah, that's over. But now we have to, like, have you socialize with the men. Because it was like they just came down the stairs and the men kind of, like, chose who they were gonna hunt.
Yeah.
But they didn't actually really interact with them.
Yeah.
So now they have to get like all dolled up to actually like have some sort of like evening social with these men. And Xavier's being yucky with Addie, like really like yucky, flirty, touchy-feely.
I mean, what you would expect.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, exactly. He's being a gross, scummy man. And
you know what is... the audacity. Like, the audacity to be, like, such a liar that you lie to yourself and convince yourself that, like, these, like, women want to be there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, you little wrinkly, shriveled up man. Like,
A prune.
I don't know what else to describe it, because I feel like if you... they're like being forced to be there.
Of course.
They are captured. They are like slaves.
Yeah.
It's just an extra slap in the face of like convincing yourself that they want to be there
and want to be with you.
Like this, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yucky.
It's yucky. Yeah. It's like all the vile words that you can possibly imagine. And at the very core, it is like small.
Yeah.
It is
the
most like derangement of like character. Like, you have to be like the scum of the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what gets me though is like, it's not just the men, because Sydney is like helping Addie get ready for the thing, for their little like social. And she is kind of like, oh, like Rio likes me. Rio's been coming to my room and blah, blah, blah. And Addie's kind of like, and?
Yeah, like why does that have to do with me?
Why do I care? And Sydney's like, oh, you're not jealous? Like, you don't care? Like, he likes you. Like, why are you not upset that he like that I'm saying he comes and visits me? Yeah. Like, she
doesn't like any. I don't like anybody in the situation.
Exactly. Like, exactly. And then we get like they're talking about Addie's basically like, well, like, I have someone that I love on the outside. You know, and then Sydney stoops even lower and is like, oh, well, if he saves me, like, I would suck his dick, basically. And it's just like, she kind of became part of their system too. You know, part of their like yucky system too.
It's like you kind of have empathy. Like, you have a certain, I don't even say empathy, like, you have a certain sorrow. You have a sorrow for her. Yeah. Because she is someone who was captured and trafficked as well. Yeah. But at the same time, after you're done having sorrow for her, you lose it because she becomes part of the same system that, like, broke her down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it even gets to the point where, like, yeah, she says that about Z, but she kind of just keeps like pushing Addie's buttons. Yeah. And finally Addie is like, fuck you. Like, why are you acting like this? We're in the same shitty situation together. And like shoves her up against the mirror. And Francesca's like, what's going on? And of course Sydney's like, she hurt me. And Francesca's like, well, you probably fucking deserved it. Yeah. And I feel like that was the one time
that Francesca was fair.
Yes, exactly.
The one time she was fair.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is true. Like, you know that Sydney deserved it. Yeah. But I feel like the precedent that they've set is, if in that situation, like, any other time, they both would have gotten severely punished for that kind of interaction. Especially because, like, they could have damaged one another, or, you know, like, just making a scene in general of seeming like they are not submissive, I guess, like that they still have some sort of fight in them. Like, they would have gotten definitely abused for that before, but this was the one time that I actually was like, thank you, Francesca, like, for just saying, yeah, Sydney, you know what?
And letting it go.
Yeah, exactly. Letting it go and agreeing that she probably did need to be, like, that she needed to be put in line by Addie. And so that chapter ends with, like, they've finished getting ready to, like, have their little soiree with these yucky men. Yeah. So that's 15.
These chapters were, like, so difficult to get through.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It was just, they're just so difficult to get through because it's, like, it's torture to read them, honestly. In the sense of, like, obviously, like, you're the reader, you're reading for the plot. Like, you know, we've already talked about how, like, this story is, like, a dark story. You know, you shouldn't read it if, like, you're sensitive to, like, the dark stories. Or actually, if you just really don't want to read a dark story. If you don't want to have it, like, in your brain.
Yeah.
But these chapters are just so insulting on principle. Like, on principle, it's just so deeply insulting.
Yeah.
Everything that these women are going through is just like...
Yeah. And it just keeps getting worse.
And it does.
And I feel like I had a hard time with these chapters. Like right now, so for chapter 16, we flash to like Zaid's perspective. And because all this stuff is happening with the culling and like we already know that Jillian kind of indicated that something is to come.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to read about Zaid right now. Even though I feel like he was keeping me going, I was like...
Oh, for sure.
I kind of was like, I just need to know that, like, Addie's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The Zaid chapters definitely gave me, like, a little, like, hope / space to breathe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like being able to be... It's kind of like you're able to be in the outside world for, like, a little bit.
Yeah.
And, like, just catch your breath because, like...
Yeah. And so, like, now we had already known that he found this, like, the Basilisk Brotherhood is what they're called, because he had found them on the cameras in the house where Addie was, like, originally taken, and found out that they do, like, a different version of trafficking for, like, human organ sales, but kind of found something about, like, okay, they're not totally terrible, like, there's something
here. There's something that's... not occluded, but something that is, like, not easily... Something that's hidden.
Yes.
Like, the way they do their stuff is, like, hidden, and something's going on.
Yeah. I'm going to turn this off. I forgot that this was going to run. I think the, like, white noise of the... like, the white noise filter or whatever on the... the white noise filter on the microphones might stop it, but I'll just put another little thingy that I had to get up and turn off my plants.
Do you want to just start over and say, so we see, like, in Zaid's chapter, the basilisk?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, like, we already knew that he had, like, found... They call themselves the Basilisk Brotherhood, because, like, he... Remember, like, on the cameras in the original house where Addie was taken, that Jay had been, like, going through the footage. Yes. And Jay was kind of like, he was like, oh, I think you're going to want to see this, because they had found that one of the guys had, like, the little girl and was actually acting, like, really caring for her. It was kind of like
trying to save her.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't usually, like, with shady people usually don't try to save their, like, victims.
Yeah, they don't act like they care. So through that, then he had gone to... I can't remember her name now. Mama T? Was that her name?
Yes, Mama T, because her name's Teresa.
Is that right? Yes. Yeah, okay. So he had, like, broke into her house to get in touch with these guys to basically be like, I need your help. I need your help finding Addie.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, well, you can, like, meet us at our place and we'll see if we'll help you. Like, we'll at least hear you out kind of thing. But I really love that one of the things that is kind of keeping Zaid going is that he actually has kind of the same thing how we said that, like, Addie is keeping going because she has Zaid in the back of her mind. Like, Zaid has Addie in the back of his mind. So, like, he shows up where at their, like, house, which is an old bank that they've converted into a house. And he gets out and, like, snuffs out his cigarette, and he hears Addie's voice in his head that's like, stop littering. And it just kind of, like, made me happy, you know, that he's, like, got her like in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
But he kind of is, like, strong-arming them of, like, oh, well, like, you know, word on the street is you guys aren't actually bad guys.
Yeah. And they're like, that's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of start talking about, like, their business venture, which, like, I found pretty interesting. I don't know. What did you think about it? Yeah.
I didn't. If you had told me, if you had given me, like, guesses as to what they would do, I don't think I would ever thought of their business model. I thought that it was very different and not something that I had ever heard about before.
Yeah. Do you want to like go into a little bit of detail about it? Yeah.
So like their business model is basically like, and like the details might be a little bit because it's been a while since I've read it, but it's essentially, yes, they do procure organs for the black market, but no, they don't actively like go out and like hurt people to harvest their organs.
Yep.
What happens is like they have people who are on patrol. So it's like if someone freshly like died and there's like a body, they have like people that call them up and they're like, there's a fresh body, and then they procure the organs from that body.
Yep.
Sometimes if it's like somebody that's trying to get sold to them, they'll literally just buy the person and then set them free.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it's like sometimes they get there and the body is not like fresh and they can't do anything. Sometimes they get there and it's somebody who can still be saved and they save them.
Yeah. And then I think the way that they are kind of trying to hide their reputation, or are able to hide their reputation, is like they do kill people who are alive and donate their organs. Mm-hmm. But it's people who have come from states where medical euthanization is not legal.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, maybe it's like someone who like has a terminal illness and is like, I don't want to live anymore, but it's not legal in my state for like medically assisted suicide. Yeah. So they come to them.
Yeah.
And so they do kill people.
Yeah. With consent.
Yeah. But they don't like advertise that. So they are able to.
So it just looks like they do kill people.
Yes, they're able to like kind of still have that image of
that like secrecy, mysterious facade of like yes. Yeah, people disappear around us.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like and Zaid brings up a good point. He's like, why couldn't they just do like physician like assisted suicide like in this state where it's legal? And then like they bring up like, oh, in like other states have laws about that. So if your residence is in another state that doesn't allow it, you can't just go to a state that allows it to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't know if it's true or not true.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
But I feel like I think it feels like it is true.
It logically makes sense.
It logically makes sense. And I also don't think that the author would include that if it wasn't true.
Right. Like, why would you choose to just make up a statement like that without doing research? No, you're right. It checks out.
It checks out, yeah.
Yeah. But I found this interaction when Zaid like first walks in before they start having the conversation. One of the guys, I got to remind myself which one of them, because there's 4 of them. Which one is it? One of the, so Casey is Case is one of them. There's another guy, Slade. Riker is another one, and then I don't remember the 4th guy's name.
Is it like Dane or Dan or something?
Dare. Yeah, Dare. But which one of them? I think it's either Slade or Dare has a girl over.
Oh my god, yeah, that was so weird. I was like, and I literally was like, so I guess it's consensual because Zaid didn't react to it.
Exactly.
He basically has like a girl on a leash, and she's like not clothed.
Yeah, she's like completely naked except for the leash and like something covering her boobs.
Yeah, she has like a band or something.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, this is weird. I don't know why this was included in here. I almost feel like this has no value.
I know. It was very odd, but I guess also at least we kind of know like in the setting of it being consensual, Zaid is not one to like kink shame.
I mean, how could he? Like,
fair enough.
The man literally has a trauma, like, loves to traumatize people. That's his kink.
Yeah.
He's the trauma king. I don't know what.
Exactly. Yeah. But, like, so, in general, like, they're talking about that you like, yes, Zaid observes that this girl is there, but in the chapter, they're talking about, like, their business model. Yeah. And at the end of the chapter, Zaid is basically like, why do you do your business this way? And Riker's like, look, we can't save them all. Like, we don't have the means
that you
do in your organization to save as many people as you do. So this way, we are saving people. We are making a difference. We are taking people who are alive, exactly, and don't need to be sold for organs, and we bring them back to their families.
And I think that they also mentioned that they make sure that the organ goes to people who actually need it.
Yes.
Not some weird, like,
Yes.
You know, not some weird, like, somebody just procuring organs.
Yeah, it's like people that have been on the list,
the transplant list for a while.
Forever, yeah.
Which I had to suspend a little bit of, like, reality and disbelief for that part, just because of our background.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't just take like, a mortician does not have the skill to just take a live organ and keep it fresh for, like, transplant.
Yeah.
The way that, like, they're saying, like, you have to suspend a little bit of disbelief.
Yeah, because my question was kind of like, well, who implants the organ?
Exactly.
You know?
Like, what doctor, because that's an ethical, like, violation. Like, I don't know, like, because yes, you understand that there's, like, somebody coming to you and they have, like, an organ, right? And it's a shame for that organ to go to waste, but, like, also, why would you, as, like, a transplant surgeon, open up a patient to put in an organ where you don't know where that organ came from?
Yeah, you don't know if it's been tested for diseases.
Exactly. You don't know anything. You don't know if it's compatible with that patient. You have to do, like, testing before you do any of that.
Yeah.
And it's like the last thing that you want to do is also perpetuate the ability of people to, like, procure things in an unethical way.
It's got to be another, like, black market doctor. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so, like, that chapter ends that they're like, yeah, we will help you. And Zayd is like, okay, like, you have a big, like, IOU from my organization to yours kind of thing.
Yeah, which I wonder if we're going to get, like, that.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if it's going to come back and be like, oh, the guys are now asking for the IOU.
Yeah, like, are we going to see it actually, like, be, like, come to call,
Played out,
you know? Yeah. And now we go back to Addie.
Alrighty.
Yeah, for 17. Now we go back to Addie. And so, first of all, now they have to do this little soiree. And, like, we already know Addie has the tracker, like, injected in her neck. Yeah.
In the back of her neck.
But they give her another one that is, like, to look like jewelry, where it's, like, a collar that is locked on her neck that also has a tracker in it.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
And there was a specific purpose to that. I don't remember what was the purpose. Like, in the event, it's kind of like in the event that someone tries to get them out.
Yeah, so Addie's kind of like, oh, like, I'd consider cutting the one out of my neck, but Francesca knows that we would all risk cutting it out of our neck.
It's because they have, like, knives at the social, most likely.
Yeah. And so then...
I bet somebody already did that.
Yeah, I bet somebody did already do it. But it's also, like... It's also... what's the word? I'm trying to think of the... Not a display. But, like, you know that these men probably enjoy, like, seeing that these women are, like, captive.
Yeah.
And it's just another... Even though it's, like... Oh, it's jewelry. It's still, like, locked on their neck, you know? And so I wonder how much of it is also an added component for the men, you know? But yeah, I wonder if you're right that, like, someone has done it before, that they've, like, tried to take this as an opportunity to cut out their tracker.
Yeah, whether it's, like, one of the guys deciding that they didn't want to pay and just taking someone.
Oh, yeah.
Or whether it's, like, some of the girls trying to help each other out and cutting it for them.
I would totally do that.
So they could run.
I would totally do that.
Yeah.
The way that I would be like, bend them, turn around. Like, slice.
Just, like, slice it out.
Because I'm sure it's not that deep that if you, like, feel...
No, it must be...
You can probably feel it.
You know what I imagine? I imagine, like, you know, like, how neck split on?
Oh, yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The birth control that goes in your arm. You know?
Yeah.
Like that. That's what I imagine it, like, is like. I can't imagine that going any deeper, because the back of your neck, like, it has to be only, like, skin deep. There's no way.
Yeah. And, like, I don't remember if we've talked about it before in a part that... in a recording part that made it, or in a part that accidentally got deleted.
Yeah.
If remember how we talked about in the Hunger Games, like, how they cut out their trackers out of the arm when the, like, everything in the arena, like, goes to shit in Catching Fire.
Yeah.
I wonder, I think it was you before that had said, like, oh, they don't put it in the arms anymore because, like, they can cut off a limb if they can't even, or it's easier access to like get it out.
Easier access to get it out. Can't cut, like, you. Yeah. Like, you would need if it's in the back of your neck, you need someone to help you get it out.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, it's hard. Or
Yeah.
you would have to sit in front of a mirror for, like, at least, like, 45 minutes
you
trying
need
to
time.
get it out yourself.
Yeah, you need time. It's not a quick, like, and just rip it out. Yeah, that's true. So now we know she's got double, like, trackers on her for this event. And Xavier's being yucky. I kind of had jumped ahead to that when we were talking about chapter 15.
Yeah.
Now they're, like, having their thing. And
I mean, is it really such a far-off cry of a prediction?
No,
like,
it's not. No, it's not.
Of course, the disgusting man that's hunting young women would be disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he's, like, kind of like, hinting at her, like, oh, like, even though I didn't catch you tonight, like, you're mine.
Yeah.
But then they get interrupted. And they get interrupted by Rio.
And I think we already talked about, like, there's something suspicious about Rio.
Yeah, exactly. And we get, like, little inklings, like, throughout that Rio, like...
something's going on with Rio.
Yeah, it's
Rio
like...
is not what, like, meets the eye.
Yeah.
There's more to his story.
Yeah. And, like, he definitely is not wholly good because he still is participating in, like, keeping them trapped there or, like, bringing them to the house. But in this moment... he can see that Xavier is getting, like, really gross with her. Handsy with her. And he's like, I gotta go change her bandages on her back. Which, like, Addie's, like, in her head, like, he just changed my bandages, like, right before the event. Why does he need to change them?
Now,
yeah, exactly. But he doesn't say that. So she doesn't say it, like, in front of Xavier. But
of course, because she's like, yes, just, like, take me away from this dude.
Exactly. But they start, like, chitty-chatting while he's, like, changing her bandages. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about, like, Phoebe and Bethany are in this, like, other room and they're being tortured in this other room. We don't really know what's going on with them, but we can hear that they are, like, screaming and something is happening to them. And she actually is pretty straight up with him about, like, why did you save me from him?
Yeah.
And he's like, what, did you not want to be saved from that?
Yeah.
Like, what, you know? And so he kind of admits, like, yes, I helped you, but, like, I'm not going to tell you more than that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he's, like, forcing her to think.
Yeah.
He's like, why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly. And it is good that, so I think when our other recording got cut off, we kind of talked a little bit about, like, our thoughts on this, where Addie is like, you've expressed before, you know Zayd is going to hunt you down and kill you.
Yes.
So
why?
Yeah, so why? So if you know you're going to die anyway, then, like, why continue?
And why do this job? Why not turn the job down?
Exactly, yeah.
And he's kind of like, well, think, why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of talked about before, like, what was his intention with that? And, like, I kind of took it as, like, he was trying to get her to, like, use her own brain and, like, find it within herself to, like, understand. Like, stop shutting down and not using your brain and not analyzing the situation that you're in. Like, actually stop and think about, why would I be doing this? Even if I know that I'm probably gonna die.
Man,
yeah. I think you had some sort of different thought though, but I don't remember.
I think so too. I think, what was the thought that I had? I don't know if I thought that maybe it was like he was, like, frustrated with her.
Yeah.
Or I think the thought was something along the lines of, like, he's still, like, there is still a certain level of, like, distance that he needs to put between him and Addie, because he doesn't really know if he can trust Addie. In the sense of, like, is Addie going to turn around and use whatever information? Because this is like a doggy-dog situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is Addie going to turn around and use whatever information she got out of Rio to manipulate him or someone around him as, like, leverage for something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if she knows, like there's a certain level of, for lack of a better word, not professionalism, but there's a certain level of, like, distance that must be maintained.
Yeah.
Like, you are not my friend.
Yeah.
I am not your friend.
Yeah.
We're in this situation for a reason. and I don't trust you enough to full on tell you
Yeah.
why I'm in this situation, because I don't trust that you won't use it to help you get out.
Yeah.
And then like either come after me or like
Yeah.
get out and then like do something else.
Yeah. So that's fair. So then he could be like, well, I'm not going to tell you, but if you use your brain, I'm sure you could figure it out.
Yeah.
Of why I'm actually doing this.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like, you know, when you first meet like someone and you're like starting to like become friends, and then something happens in front of you and you're like, does this person see what I see, or am I going to be like the one that's like a jackass?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you see something completely ridiculous happen in front of you and you're like, I can't believe that this is happening. That person's so in the wrong. And then you look at the person that you're like slowly becoming friends with and you're like,
yeah, like side eye, like did you
like, what
do you feel the same way that I do?
Yeah, and then the person like looks at you and the person's like, we don't like that.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, we don't like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, there you go.
Yep, exactly. And so Addie figures it out. Yeah. And we actually had predicted this back in our like when we first get introduced to Rio. Like, I think it was actually you that had like voiced it of like, maybe he's got family that has been taken.
Yeah.
And it turns out she's like, oh my God, they're holding someone over your head. And it turns out it's his little sister has been taken. And he's like, he literally says, as long as I'm a good boy, she won't be sold.
Yeah.
Because she is in a house very similar to the one that Addie's in at a different location.
And I don't know if this this happened to you when you were reading it.
Yeah.
But for me, when I was reading this moment and he's like, she's in another house with another groomer.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, another house? Like, intellectually, you know.
Yeah.
It's a network.
Yes.
You know it. But, like, in your heart and in your soul, you're like, no, this is the one and only.
Yeah.
This is the one and only. And then it's like, you, as a reader, it's like you hear that his sister is with another groomer at another house, and you're like, not another one. And you know you can multiply that probably by like 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
If not more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, he doesn't give any more details about it right now, just that it is his sister, and like, I'm keeping my head down and following what they want because I don't want her to get sold.
Yeah. Because
if they sell her, I'll never find her again.
Yeah.
At least now he like has an idea or an inkling of like where she is. And so anyway, she's kind of like, well, thank you for helping me. And he's like, oh, don't thank me yet. Which is going back to like Jillian had already alluded that something shitty is about to go down tonight. Mm-hmm. And so now like Phoebe and Bethany are getting drug out of the room that they were being tortured in. And we find out that like they have like some limbs missing. Yeah. And like it's bad.
It's really bad.
It's really, really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah.
It's like I was gonna say like inhumane, but like there's really no words for the terror, the horrific mutilation. There is no like There's no amount of words that I could string together to really like just express how horrible it is.
Yep. And they're like very near death at this point. And the guy that like brings them out is like to the other girls, so like Addie, Jillian, Gloria, and Sydney, he's like, they're all yours. And Addie's like, what do you fucking mean? What do you mean they're all yours?
Yeah.
And we learn from Francesca that like Addie and the other girls are responsible for ending their life.
Yeah.
Like they have to take them outside and end their life.
Yeah. Like it's another form of it's another form of torturing the girls that are still alive in the house. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also another form that I felt of like them trying to pit them against each other.
Yeah.
You know, to know that this girl, like to know that like, oh, no one here is your friend.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting because I actually think that giving them like just like getting it done
Yeah.
is actually more humane
Yeah.
than like letting them agonize and like bleed out.
Yeah. That's,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, a quick death is less torture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's an interesting point about like pitting them against each other, because Francesca doesn't have constant eyes on them. You know, so
Yeah.
like they could easily be like helping each other, especially like how Addie decided to help Phoebe in the culling. You know, like there is, anytime there is a shared trauma, you can bond over that. Or like the old saying where it's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
And so like they have a common enemy, therefore they can like bond over that, is totally true. But then you can endure, someone with a very strong willpower can endure a lot of things. But there's something about taking another human's life that can shred that very quickly.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder if that's also partly why they do it, is to like break any sense of self,
fight,
like any, yes, exactly, sense of fight that is left in them. Because it's like, you can, when you are able to get out, if you're able to get out and you're like on the other side and trying to heal, you can get to the point of like, it's not my fault that someone like abused me. But it's a lot harder to have that mentality when it's like, I killed a person.
Yeah.
You know, it breaks you in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
So this is like a whole nother form of like
breaking them
like
down.
Yeah, like psychological warfare of breaking them down. And so they have to like go outside to like take these girls down. And Francesca goes on this whole like speech about like, for centuries the culling has weeded out the weak and selected the strong, and like this whole thing about it being like a worthy ritual.
And I wish someone would hit Francesca over the head.
I know. I thought the same thing.
Like there is another place in hell for people who make it easier for predators to prey.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like there is another, it's like what's the word? It's like a betrayal of humanity.
Yeah.
You know, especially like the way that I see it is like, to be a woman, because this is such a like, yes, men can get trafficked as well.
Yeah.
But this is such a female specific crime where like majority of the victims are female.
Sure.
So when there is like a trafficker that's a woman, it's like there's a special place in hell for you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like in your DNA, you should know better.
Yeah. Yeah. And the crazy thing to me is the way that they like are using it as a form of almost like natural selection for the girls that are strong enough to survive how horrible the men are that they get sold to.
Yeah.
Because Francesca's like, oh, like in our world, only the strongest can survive, which means like only the strongest that can survive, like avoiding getting hunted and killed, are the only ones capable of enduring the sexual torture that these men are going to put them through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone needs to check on this author.
Honestly, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, someone needs to actually, like, check on her and ask her if she's okay.
Yeah.
She okay? Is she alive?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wellness check.
But I do think you're right that it was a choice to have a lot of this done and said by a woman, by Francesca. Yeah. You know? Like, it just gives it a special sort of sickness in my gut that it's coming from her.
Yeah.
But so we learned that the way that they're going to kill them is that they are given rocks. And I know the first time that we talked about this, it was like, okay, so what was your thought when they were going to kill them with like stones, you know?
It felt, I think, oh my gosh, I think I remember what I said.
Yeah.
That there was something kind of like biblical about it.
Yes.
At its core.
Yeah.
It's like ye who cast the first stone.
Yeah, ye without sin cast the first stone. Yeah.
And there's also and also historically, like how people were killed by being stoned to death.
Yeah, especially like whores in the street kind of thing, were like stoned to death.
Yeah.
And if you take it with that context, it's like you know that the girls that have to kill them like feel terrible, but it's like when you put that kind of biblical intonation on it, it's like Francesca is trying to get them to be like, I am better than you.
Yeah.
Because I survived.
Trying to create like this false hierarchy.
Yeah.
To keep them at each other's throats.
Yeah, exactly.
And not like band together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like Control 101, right?
Yeah.
Have the people that are actually in the same situation, living the same life, be against each other because of this false hierarchy of believing that you're better than someone else because because you survived, or like in like a larger context because maybe you make like more money or have this or have that or are of a specific like descendants.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff, it's like classic control of people. Make them believe that their neighbor is their enemy, and then you won't ever have to worry about them rising up against you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what they're doing to these women.
Yeah. Thankfully, at least the only one in this situation who seems to not have humanity amongst the 4 girls that like made it out of the culling is Sydney.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like 2 and 2, you know, like Jillian and Gloria are like, okay, we're going to like try and give Bethany like a fast death, which leaves like Sydney and Addie to handle Phoebe.
Yeah.
And Addie sees this like crazed look on Sydney, like, oh, she's gonna try and like drag it out, enjoy it, like torture Phoebe. So Addie takes her rock and knocks Sydney out with it, which I was like, yes, bitch got what was coming to her. Yeah. I was kind of low key. I feel a little bad saying this, but also it's Sydney, so I kind of don't feel bad. Like, I'm kind of sad that the blow didn't like kill her, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like Sydney is one of those that you're like, under perfect conditions, you would send her to get help.
Yeah.
And you would pour into her to get help.
Yeah, exactly.
But these are not perfect conditions.
Right.
And she is a liability like no other.
Exactly.
Like no other.
Exactly. And you know what? We will get to it, but it kind of like comes to bite Addie in the ass that it actually didn't kill Sydney.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, so like she knocks out Sydney, which means that she's the one that has to like end Phoebe's life.
Yeah. And
I cried. Yeah. I cried at this part because I
think I cried at this part too.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing about like you never know how much people who like appear to be unconscious are like perceiving the outside world, you know? Mm-hmm. So she goes to Phoebe and is like, I don't know if you can hear me, but like you saved me. I'm not going to let you suffer. Mm-hmm. And Phoebe is like, she answers her and is like, I can hear you. And then she like quickly ends it for Phoebe.
Yeah.
And we see this kind of like breaking in Addie because she's like, someone's daughter died today. And I hope that whoever it was can forgive me, you know? So that this part really, I think there were other parts previously in the book that got me in the sense that they made me sick, you know? And I'm like, this is terrible that Addie's going through this, that these girls are going through this, but this is I like mourned.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting teary-eyed now.
I know.
About it.
I know.
So
I'm at that like sensitive spot in the month where I'm like, I'm about to cry, and I'm like, no.
I know. But it's and you know what? It's like hearing Addie be like, I hope they can forgive me. I think that any logical person that is not swept away in grief,
yes,
would actually say thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Phoebe was suffering and would have suffered a lot.
She was dying a miserable death for no reason. Really.
Yeah, exactly, for no reason. So then immediately after that, in the middle of the chapter, we get this crazy time jump.
I know, the craziest time jump ever, that I literally read it and I was like, what?
Yes, because we've been kind of getting like pretty continuous like time, like it's going like Addie's been there for like a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden we get a 2-month time jump.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, like there's a lot of things that can go wrong in 2 months.
I know. When I saw the time jump, I was like, hold, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats.
Yes.
This is going to be a bumpy ride.
Yes. And it turns out that like since they had the culling, like Xavier is pretty much like
the abuse has like skyrocketed.
Yeah, and he's like not yet officially bought Addie, but it's like unspoken that he is going to buy Addie.
Yeah.
So Francesca has been letting him have time with her once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Addie is clearly broken because she's like getting ready for another night where Xavier's coming to visit her, and she takes the lipstick and draws like almost like a Joker smile.
The Joker smile.
The Joker smile on herself with the lipstick.
Someone is going off the rails when they Joker smile themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Francesca's like, wipe that off your face, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I just wanted to smile, Francesca. And I was like, oh God, this is it. This is where we're seeing Addie like break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And she's kind of trying to tell herself like, duh, like, how to smile, but she still is like,
there's no will to smile.
I can't. Yeah, I can't. And so we get the scene of Xavier being with her.
Yeah, we get the details of her torture.
Yeah.
Is essentially what's happening.
Yeah, and it's bad because apparently his fetish is like seeing whatever girl he's with like covered in blood. Mm-hmm. So he like nicks her all over with his knife.
Which is like, okay.
Yeah.
There is like a special, I keep saying there's a special place in hell, but man,
there sure is.
There's gotta be, because if not, this world is just so unfair. But like, the treating human beings as if they don't like they're not even as valuable as things, right? Like the way that these human beings are being treated, as if they don't even have the value of a thing. Because in what other like business would you let someone like take the product? Like, I hate to say that, that's not at all what I mean, but like you don't go to Best Buy and like take a computer home for once a week to do whatever you're gonna do on it. Put like malware on it and then like take it back to Best Buy saying like, I pinky promise I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just so like disgusted. Like obviously like this entire thing is disgusting, but it's like Francesca is such a fucking bitch. Like she really is like, she just really is, because honestly, she could, if she wanted to, she could have protected Addie. She could have said, sorry, she's not yours yet. So you can't like visit her and have these kinds of visits. Like maybe like to placate him, like have like they get to talk to each other. Yeah. And he gets to like, I don't know, like give her anxiety, like telling her stuff, but like Francesca could have protected Addie. She could have said no. Yeah. And she didn't. And she is such a like just disgusting character. And it's like the audacity of like not thinking like this could easily, like, you're a woman. Yeah. You're not exempt from this. Yeah. This could easily, like, what if Xavier turned around and was like, I want you, Francesca. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah. And there are some things that people are into that I personally might think are a little weird, but are harmless. Mm-hmm. This crosses over into like demonic.
Yeah. Oh yes, we talked about that.
I think you
that we brought up.
Yes.
I just felt like, I think I remember what I said. It was something along the lines of like, it just feels like sacrilegious. It feels like a kind of evil that is not a human evil, but like something beyond. Like it feels like demonic.
Yeah. Because not only does he like enjoy seeing her like bleeding, he also has, there's this one line where he's basically like, oh, like when I have bought you and I own you, like I'm gonna drink your blood.
Yeah. Like, and he says something like, you're only gonna last like a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah.
Did he say like a week or a month or something?
He was like, I could drink from you until you're nothing more than a wilted corpse.
Yes, that was what I was like, you're literally not human.
No. Because also, this is probably the wrong thing for me to think about, but like, you're gonna pay all that money for Addie to kill her, you know?
Yeah.
Like I know that's probably the wrong way for me to think about that, but like that's ridiculous.
It's because they don't make sense. It's because they don't make sense because they are like disgusting humans, and probably what he's paying for her is like just like drops in a bucket to whatever wealth he has.
Yeah.
Which goes back to like, how many problems in this world would be solved if the people that were hoarding wealth decided to just, whatever they would spend on a handbag, like they could spend giving people opportunities, funding things, like trying to make the world a better place. Yeah. You know?
But unfortunately, a lot of them are some of the most corrupt people.
Yeah, and then and they still, and then they want you to not, they want like, it's like, this goes into like the environmental stuff, but it's like the same people who proclaim to be philanthropists for the environment. And it's like, no, you're not. You like, you want to have your steak. You want to ride around in your private jet. Yeah. And then you don't want any of us to travel. You don't want people to eat red meat or like, you know, just like the little things that are like, not luxuries, but like, you know, like eating a good piece of meat, like that's something that you do to celebrate like a special occasion. Like, you know, like, you know, the little things in life. And it's like, you want people to like want to preserve things like the environment, but you want to keep living your consumer life. You want to keep consuming. You want to keep taking. You want to keep like monopolizing resources. Yeah. And, you know, just keep acquiring and acquiring and acquiring, and then making like the general population have to pay for your endeavors. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like we each had a scene in this book that wrecked us pretty hard. And as far as like the things that Addie endures, I feel like the one that, like, when I say like the scenes that wrecked us, meaning like it kept us awake at night, like haunted us for a good while. Like for me, the one that really got me was the one with Francesca with the shoe.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I feel like you had voiced this one.
This one. Yeah, this one got to me. Like this one, like I sobbed. Like I cried, like sobbed in bed for like an hour. Yeah. And then I think I didn't pick up the book for like at least like 2 days.
Yeah. I feel like the thing about this one that was really hard for me was that this is the first time I felt like I really saw Addie give up. Yeah. Like I felt it that she was giving up.
Yeah. But how could you not?
I mean, honestly, you know? I feel like I would have given up long before her. Yeah. I don't know. I like to think that I'm a strong person, but knowing some of the stuff that she has gone through, I'm like, no, I think I would have either found a way to piss someone off enough that they killed me, or tried to find a way to do it myself at this point because of the things that she's gone through.
Or decide to try to die trying to escape.
Yep.
Right? Like if all things come to an end, if the end that I meet is death because I'm trying to escape, then that is an end that I will take.
Yep, I'm all right with that.
You know? Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's strength in making the decision to not continue. Yeah. I think there is strength in making the decision to continue. Yeah. And I think that there is strength in making the decision to endure.
Nobody can decide that but you.
Yeah.
You know, like in the moment, no one can decide that but you.
I think in these extreme human situations, there's no room for judgment except for the judgment of the evil people that are committing crimes.
Facts. Yeah. And honestly, I was already starting to feel that way of like, yes, I was like grossed out by the scene, but then my stomach was also churning because I was like, oh my God, like Addie's giving up. Like Zayd's not going to find her before in time. Yeah. And then it like pans to Rio is like still responsible for cleaning her up. Like it's no longer her wounds from her car accident. Now it's the wounds that Xavier had like inflicted on her. Mm-hmm. But Rio's basically like, you're giving up. Yeah. You know, like he kind of tries to like talk to her. Yeah. And she's like,
what's the point?
What's the point? Why do you care? Like, you know? Yeah. But yeah, he's kind of like telling her like, you know, don't give up. Like, yeah. And he tries to tell her like, well, at least the positive thing is right now, like your wounds have to heal. So you don't have time with, like, he's not going to be allowed to have time with you for a little while. And she's like, okay, what about every other man in this house? Like,
yeah. Cause we also find out that because of what she did to Sydney in front of the men, she also got abused that night as well.
Yeah. For knocking Sydney out.
Yeah. Did all of them get abused, or
I don't remember.
No, Sydney and her did.
I think so. For like
Jillian
making a sin, making a scene.
Yeah.
And at this point, like, ever since Bethany and Phoebe died, things have been getting worse in the house in the sense that like Francesca does everything that she can to pit them against each other.
Yeah. Like from forcing them to punish each other, to like them being abused by others. And that broke my heart. Yeah. Because it's like, I don't even know if I still had a heart to be broken, you know, because everything in this book, but
facts.
But that one was like, it hurt because I was like, they're not your enemies. Yeah. They're not. They're really not. Maybe Sydney because she's freaking crazy. But, like, the other two are not. And you guys are surviving this, like, together. And they're, like, they're purposely, like, destroying them.
Yeah.
So that they feel so isolated.
Yep. Yeah. You know, it's so true. Like, I know we make references to, like, a lot of other, like, pop culture things. But you remember the part in Harry Potter... Have you read or seen?
I've seen the movies. I haven't read Harry Potter.
Okay. I think it's in the movies as well, where Harry's like talking to Luna Lovegood, and Luna Lovegood is like, well, if I was Voldemort, I would want you to feel as isolated as possible and alone. Because the more alone and isolated you feel, the less hope that you have, and therefore the less of a threat you are. Mm. You know, and I feel like that's what they're doing to the, like, I think the night of the culling, seeing the way that Addie, Gloria, and Jillian, without even having to, like, talk to each other, understood we're making this quick and painless, you know, for them. And that there was some sort of friendship, I guess, there, and that can be dangerous with the way that Addie like attacks Sydney.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like they're just breaking apart any sort of friendship that they had and isolating them.
Yeah.
So really the only person that Addie kind of has some sort of like semblance of a positive dynamic with is Rio. Yeah. And he's like giving her a little bit of information, like there are new girls that are coming.
And Gloria and sorry.
A week ago.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Down the wrong pipe with the spit?
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. I know. It was like I breathed in. And like the air dried my trachea.
Oh, yeah. It's because we had that cold snap. You know, like I feel like anytime you get a cold snap, the humidity drops.
Yeah.
Yes. I should probably take a sip of water too while you're doing that.
You might have to like cut my cough so that the viewer doesn't get like their eardrums blown out.
Okay, facts. Yeah. But yeah, so we also find out about Jillian and Gloria.
Like a week ago, Jillian and Gloria got sold off, basically.
Yeah, so the only two girls...
That's important.
Yes, it is important. The only two girls in the house are Sydney and Addie.
Yeah.
Which, like... Fuck, man. If I was Addie, I'd be like, are you kidding me? That the only person I'm left with in this house is fucking Sydney?
I know.
Yeah, which is also important.
Yeah. And I think the reason why she wasn't carted off with like Jillian and Gloria is because she already has like Xavier, who is like intending to like buy her. So
yeah.
Every time I say buy her, it just like it hurts, man. It hurts.
Yeah. I feel like one of the things that got me about this book was having to learn how to talk about people in this way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. But this chapter ends with Francesca coming upstairs while Rio is like bandaging her wounds and being like, finish cleaning her up quickly. Claire wants to talk to her.
And at this point, Addie doesn't know the extent of like Claire and what she's done. So she has like she's like, she thinks to herself, Claire. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Where have I heard it before? Claire.
Yeah, like, do I know someone who's a Claire? Like, because at least she's kind of like not in this house, you know? Like, I don't know someone who's come to the house before that's a Claire.
Because she has no idea really why she was abducted, aside from the fact that the society wanted her.
Yeah. The chapters, a lot of Addie's chapters from here on out also have her starting to journal.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother level of heartbreaking to get a little bit more insight into what she was really feeling. But chapter 19 now flashes to Zaid, which of course we end chapter 18 with them being like, oh, Claire wants to see her. And I'm like, now we go to Zaid. Like,
I know,
right? Like, like I want to know what's going to happen with Claire.
Yeah.
So this chapter happens 1 week ago.
Yep.
Compared to where Addie is in present time.
Yep. Does it say here?
Yes, 1 week ago.
1 week ago.
Yes. Yeah. And so
you're like, a week ago.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
And then when I was reading this, I was already connecting the dots, and I was like, wait, so the girls got sold a week ago, and this is happening a week ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, what's going to happen?
Exactly. This chapter was great.
This chapter gave me hope.
Yes. Yes.
So much hope.
I feel like before chapter 19, I just kept being like, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Like when it's like you're falling down a pit and you're like, can I just hit the bottom?
Yeah.
So that I can maybe start climbing back up, you know? And I feel like chapter 19 was the first time that I was like, did we hit rock bottom? And maybe now we're like starting to climb back out?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah.
So anyway, we have the chapter opens. Yes, it's a week ago. And like, it says that there's a woman that's like dressed in jewels. And like, honestly, the way that I kind of pictured her is like, you remember in Star Wars, the scene where it's Princess Leia and she's Jabba's slave and she's in the gold bikini with like all the jewels like dripping off of her. I kind of pictured it similar to that.
You know what I pictured? Which is kind of like, I hate that I pictured this, but like, you know, like Kim Kardashian, when she did like the Playboy photo shoot, like early 2000s, then she was just like covered in pearls. Oh, no. But she was like nude, covered in pearls.
Oh, shoot.
Like, that's kind of like what I pictured also.
Dang.
Or like when the celebrities do like, or like when she had like the dress for the Met Gala that was like raindrops, that it looked like water droplets. But like the base of the dress was like a fabric that was kind of skin colored.
So it looked like she was naked except for the jewels.
Except for the, yeah. So that's kind of like what I pictured also.
Gotcha.
Or like the Marilyn Monroe dress. Yeah. Like the classic one. That's kind of what I pictured. But obviously not a dress, just like jewels.
See, I don't keep up enough with like that kind of pop culture stuff. I know who Kim Kardashian is, but I don't. You'll have to show me later these pictures so I get the same like image.
mental image.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about with the Princess Leia one?
Like exposed and like hard rock is what's covering your body.
Yeah, exactly.
Like not real clothes.
Yeah. So they're at this auction and okay, you know the new movie that just came out, Hoppers, that's like the kids animated movie that has the little lizard, all the memes that are coming out with the little.
That was the name of the movie.
The the little green lizard, and the one where he's going lizard. So
we gotta watch that movie.
I promise. From the trailer, it looks hilarious.
Lizard.
That's how I picture Zaid in this chapter. So like Zaid. Okay.
Oh yes, I know what you're saying. That's so funny.
So at this auction, it's like they have these guys. So I don't know why my face is so itchy right now, but anyway, all the buyers have these like privacy like stalls. So the way that I pictured it is like the girl is like on a pedestal, you know, and then like the stalls are kind of around it,
and it's like spinning.
Yeah, and the stalls are kind of around it, and they can see her. Yeah, they can see the girl to bid on, but they can't see the other bidders for like anonymity. You know, and it's kind of like they push the button to like place their bid. You know. And Zaid, obviously, he's got wealth in abundance, and he is buying every girl to make sure that, like, he can, like, free them. So he's just, like, but he doesn't even care about what price they're saying.
Lizard. And you brought something up, too. Like, you were like, you know, I love that he's buying them all, but, like, you mentioned like the money, like giving that amount of money to in the hands of all these people.
Yeah, he's still like funding them in a way.
But then like he basically is like, oh, this money is not gonna go into their pockets because Jay is already like hacking into like bank systems and getting it back.
Exactly.
So it's like it was like chef's kiss.
Yes.
Lizard, and getting your money back.
And then not even spending a dime. Exactly.
Dime.
Yeah, so he just
keeps people for free.
Yeah, he just keeps clicking, and Jay is kind of like
the new age Robin Hood.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like Jay kind of interpreted that he was doing that to speed things along to see if Addie was here, and Jay's like, yo, I don't think Addie's here, and he's like, you know, it's okay, like we're still gonna like do our job for these girls that are here. And the way that this man comes in after, Zaid buys them all, and the guy who's like the auctioneer is like, where would you like us to transport your winnings? And he's like, my winnings? You mean the people, the women that you were selling, like the human beings? And the guy like kind of backpedals like, oh, like, yeah, what would you like done with the women? You know, like doesn't know how to respond to Zaid, like being like, they're not fucking property, they're people.
Yeah.
And he kind of is chatting with him like, oh, like, have you ever bought someone? And the guy is like, well, like, yeah. And through this conversation, he ends up locking him in the room.
In the cell.
Like the like privacy. Yeah. I want to say cell, but it's like a cubicle.
Probably privacy suite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably
what it is.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. So he ends up like locking him in there, and he like he's like, we're gonna make like a spectacle of this auction, like a statement out of this auction, you know. So he locks him in. And then
he like ties him up.
Yeah, right? He ties him up, and then so he goes like ties him up and leaves, and goes to like the first stall in the line of stall or suite, whatever. Goes to the first one, and he's like, "Oh, like Jay, did you figure out how to transition the privacy glass so that it's no longer privacy?" And Jay's like, yeah, I'm on it. Yeah. He like undoes the privacy for that one suite. So now everyone else in the other suites can see the first one, and he lights the bitch on fire.
Yeah.
And like,
I remember.
Yeah.
The guy in the suite.
Yeah, exactly.
He ties him up, then lights him on fire.
Yeah.
But then like Jay locks all the rooms so like the other people can't get out. So they're seeing what their future is gonna be literally within a couple of minutes.
Yes, because now they can see Zayd coming like room to room to room and lighting them all on fire.
Yeah.
And Jay is like filming it to post, to like send a message
to the dark web,
to the dark web of like, we're coming for you too, kind of thing. And it pans to them in the limousine because Zayd, when the guy was like, oh, what do you want done with your winnings? He was like, well, there's a limousine out back. And the limousine was like full of clothes. Mm-hmm. So the girls could put on actual clothes and he's taking them to whatever safe house he has closest, you know, to like get them to a safe place. And freaking Michael, who works for Zayd.
I know, Michael.
This man.
Wait, before we go to Michael,
I
just want to say, like, Zayd, like, the privacy, he puts a camera so that it's, like, spinning as, like, they're all burning. And it just makes me think of, like, you know, like, the Freddy Krueger, like, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I feel like in the dark web, the message was, like, 1, 2, Zayd is coming for you. 3, 4, shut the door. It's, like, and just, like, I hope that all these fictional, horrible people feel the fear of like Big Daddy's coming and he's coming to get you.
Yep.
And you're going down.
Yeah, you see what happened to these people? It's going to happen to you too. Yeah. Because this is the second one. Like first he like took the doctor from the house that they originally brought Addie to, and he like burned down that building, you know? So that was message number 1, and now this is message number 2 that tells them like, I am hot on your tail right now, or hot on your trail, whichever the expression is. Yeah. So we get to Michael is driving the limousine, and Zayd is like in the front with him, and all the girls are in the back with Ruby, and Ruby's like helping them like get clothes on and stuff. And fucking Michael goes, I have to admit, ladies, I've been in a limousine full of women before, and this is not how it went down. I was like, Michael,
is that literally
that's exactly what he said.
In reference to what? This is not how it went down?
Meaning like it was not like a solemn, I took it like it was not like a solemn thing. Like he was like
it was a party limo.
Yeah, it was a party limo. Yeah.
I know, Michael.
And Zayd goes, bam, like what the fuck,
like smacks
man?
Him, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, we literally just rescued all these women from gross men, and you're gonna make a stupid comment like that?
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
And then Jillian laughed at it.
Yeah.
And she was like, she said something that I found very like profound, that she was like, I like when people don't treat me like I'm made of glass.
Yeah.
Because it makes her feel more normal.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah. And then we basically find out Jillian is one of the women that he rescued. But also before then, when they're describing the girls coming up, there is a description of one of the girls that is Gloria. Yeah. And like, I don't know, you caught that? Like, so as you're reading it, you catch like, oh my God, it's Gloria. So then like you're waiting for him to talk to the girls so that he can get the info. Yes, because so she's the first girl that speaks, and they say that it's a girl with a heavy Russian accent. And I was we were like, it's Jillian! Yes, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Yes, so that made me super excited. So anyway, and she's like, so did you kill them? And he's like, yeah, we killed them. And she's like, good, you know, like good riddance. And he's like, you know, like, do you have anyone else you want me to kill? And she's like, oh, I can think of a few. And he's like, well, if you help me, I promise I'll take them out. And he's like, I need you to help me find someone. And he doesn't even say the name. He just like pulls up the picture
of Addie.
And she says, Addie.
Yeah. And
he sees the picture and she says, Addie.
And I was like, oh my God, you know her? And she's like, yeah, I was at the same house as her. And like, as of a week ago, like she was still there. And this fucking Jillian, this girl. I respect Jillian. Yeah. Because this girl was like, they blindfolded me. I don't know. But she says to him, I counted from the house to this like auction, and it was an hour. Like how many minutes I was in the car. It was like an hour. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, my girl, you just gave them a search radius. Mm-hmm. Look at you. Mm-hmm. Yep. Freaking Jillian. Yep. And then
what a good she never gave up. Yeah. Because somebody who gives up doesn't do that.
Yeah. So she was keeping track, and then she was like, you know, I can't tell you what happened after I left, but as of a week ago, she was still alive. Yeah. And I know she was being visited by some guy who's going to be her buyer. I don't remember who it is. And then all of a sudden we hear a voice be like, it's Xavier Delano.
Yeah.
And that voice
is Gloria.
Yes. Yes, it's Gloria. So now we know that both Gloria and Jillian are safe. And Zayd now has like missing pieces that will hopefully help him find Addie. And that's why after reading this chapter, I was like, oh my God, he's so close.
So friggin' close.
He's so close. Yes. Yep. And now we get to chapter 20, our last chapter.
Oh my God, this chapter was like, to finish on this chapter was like such an adrenaline, like, no. And then you have to put the book down and you're like, no,
I know. So it snaps back to like, because that chapter was a week ago. So it snaps back to what is like Addie's present. Yeah. And which means like Addie has to go talk to Claire. And like you said, she's kind of having that thought of like, Claire, do I know a Claire? Like, who is this? She gets downstairs and sees Claire, and she's kind of like, do I know this woman? Like, and then she places her. Mm-hmm. She realizes that it's Mark's wife.
Yep.
Realizes who she is.
And goes through her head, like, why is she doing this? Is this revenge over her husband's death? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And Claire does her little, like, evil villain speech.
Her little villain monologue.
Whereas, like, the villain monologue, like, I understand the point of it. Because, right, like, let's say you're a villain. And you plan this out and, like, you want someone to know your strategy. Because you're like, haha, I'm so proud of myself. I am a genius, an evil genius.
Yep.
But at the same time, there's been so many times in so many villain monologues that I'm like, I just wish that someone would, like, shoot an arrow through your throat.
Yep.
Because I am tired of hearing your evil butt talk.
Yep. And there are very few stories where the villain monologue doesn't bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they are trying so hard to be like, oh, teehee, I'm so clever, you didn't know it was me, blah, blah, blah. And they let some sort of detail slip. Mm-hmm. That if you're actually, like, smart and paying attention, you're like, oh, you fucked up by revealing that.
Yeah.
So the first thing that Claire reveals is that Zayd got Gloria and Jillian at the auction.
Which... boom, instant hope dose.
Exactly. However, the second thing that she fucked up with is telling Addie that she's not going to be auctioned off.
Because now Addie knows I either escape myself or I'm like, if he gets his hands on, like if Xavier gets his hands on me, like I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm never going to be seen again.
Yes, because it's like an underground sale kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like I am not going to an auction where like I can be found.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think those are the two things that Claire, yes.
And Claire does that to try to destroy Addie's hope, not realizing that it just ignited it.
Yes, it ignited the spark of like, it's now or never.
Yeah.
Like I either run now or I'm dead.
Or I die trying.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And in the sense of like, in the bigger context of if I run now, like I know Zayd is looking for me. Like, not that she didn't know he wasn't looking for her.
But
like
she knows he's close.
Oh, yes, exactly. She knows he's close. And she knows that he's found people that know where she is.
Yeah.
Or at least have some sort of information to be able to help him figure out where she is. They might not have any more specifics other than like, being able to describe the house and give names and blah, blah, blah. But it's still better than nothing, you know? Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, I think the shitty thing is also in this moment, Addie kind of realizes, like, oh, like, yes, Claire was abused, but she, like, didn't take that as the opportunity to try and fix the system.
Yeah.
Like, Addie goes through like some stages of grief, realizing how
that Claire is the perpetrator of all these disgusting things happening to other women.
Yes, exactly. The ultimate puppeteer.
And children, because we haven't seen a kid here, but like, yeah, it's happening to children.
Yeah, because we
know that we know. Like Addie is not being exposed to it, but we know.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And she like ends this little interaction with Claire with the thought of like, well, Xavier was right about one thing. The culling is a double-edged sword. It taught me how to run. And that's precisely what I plan on doing. So she's like, okay, she's done with this conversation with Claire and she's like, it's now or never. She goes upstairs to get ready to like run. And fucking Sydney comes in and is like, I know what you're planning.
Because she's been in the walls this entire time.
Yep.
Creepy little thing.
Because you remember when, like, early in the book...
Yeah, Addie sees a person in the wall and she thinks she hallucinates it or something.
Yeah.
But it's actually Sydney, which I saw coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I didn't know who I thought it was, but it makes sense that it was Sydney. Because...
for Cocoa Puffs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who else is gonna... That's why you gotta... That's... For sure, that's how Sydney has leverage over Francesca.
Yeah.
Is that she has, like, been, like, sneaking through the walls and has probably seen a secret of Francesca's. And it now has that as, like, leverage over her. And that's why, like, she's been able to stay in the house long.
I wonder what she saw.
Yeah, right? I wonder what she saw.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know.
Well, we know what secret she saw of Addie's. When Addie first, like, got up to see if she actually saw someone in the wall... That was when the floorboard creaked. And she found Molly's diary.
Yeah.
And so what Addie doesn't know is that she's been writing in this diary, which, like,
yes!
Addie left a paper trail.
Yes, like Addie literally wrote her escape plan down in the diary, specifically when Molly said, I'm going to escape, but I'm not going to write down how in case they catch me.
Yep.
And so Adeline's idea is if I escape at least and somebody finds this, maybe they can get out.
Yeah.
That's her idea.
Yeah.
But also like, my girl.
Yeah. So Sydney, like, whenever Addie wasn't in the room, Sydney would like go in and she knows now that the journal is there because she saw Addie find it. And she's reading it. So she knows exactly what Addie's plan is to try and escape. And Sydney's like, well, you don't get to, like, be treated better than the rest of us and then escape your fate. Which is like... And Addie's like, the fuck? Like, what do you mean get treated better? I'm being abused just like the rest of you.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, but Francesca still favors you and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm going to tell Francesca what your plan is. And Addie's like, what plan? And then she reveals like...
that she knows how she's going to escape.
Yeah.
And it was at that... First of all, just when Francesca was like, I know what you're going to do. I was like... Already, I was like, she needs to die.
Yep.
Like, there's no way around this.
Yep.
She needs to die. But also, think about how broken Sydney truly is.
Yeah.
That she doesn't think, I'm going to escape with Addie.
Yeah. That she's like, I'm going down, so are you. You know? Like, it's not the we can help each other. It's the we end each other kind of thing. And Addie definitely recognizes, like, it's like eat or be eaten, you know? It's like either I end you or you end me. And they like are locked in this. They do start to fight each other. And it's like they recognize it's going to be a fight to the death.
Yeah.
So one, it's the middle of the night. So everybody in the house is sleeping. And so they're like terrified of waking people up because heaven forbid they wake up anyone in the house and then they get abused.
Yeah.
You know? So they like have to like basically fight each other to the death in silence. And there's even one moment where they hit like a nightstand or something, make a loud sound, and they both pause with fear in their eyes, look at each other with wide eyes, and like wait to see if they woke anybody up, and then continue fighting. Yeah, exactly.
And Addie takes like a pen that she has that she's been using to write, and she uses that pen to like stab her in the eye.
No, in her airway, in her neck.
But she stabs her in the eye eventually, right? Or am I misremembering?
I don't know. Yeah, she plunges the pen. I plunge the pen into her neck, and she keeps doing it.
Oh, maybe it's that I misremembered.
Yeah. But yeah, she like got her airway and then like her jugular.
Yeah.
So she's like, she can't like bleed she can't breathe and she's bleeding. Yeah. And you know who does wake up though is Rio. And Rio comes in and was basically like, what the fuck did you do? And she is like, I'm gonna escape. And then at first it's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said anything.
I know when she said that, I literally was like, Adeline. Because we don't know where Rio's gonna fall in this.
Yes.
So I was like, what? I was reading, I was like, why would you tell him you're gonna escape?
Yes, and she realizes that she fucked up.
And there's no way. I was like, there's no way you're taking down Rio. Like, he's a fully grown man who has been able to eat full food and not live off soup.
Yep. But he goes, she starts to like spiral and be like, oh my God, like I shouldn't have said that to you. Like, you know, like and she has this moment where she kind of like
thinks on her feet.
Well, no, it's like she kind of goes crazy. She says to him like, so she's thinking about like she's like freaking out and she's like got blood going through her hair now because she's like touching her hair. And then she's like she's like, I'm coming to terms with being caught before I've even stepped out of the house. And she's like, I can't live with the fish, Rio. I don't like sharks. And he's like, what the fuck are you saying? Because she's like freaking, she's like having a meltdown. Yeah. And he was like, he grabs her and he's like, look at me. What is your plan? And she tells him about the train. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what about the guards outside? And she's like, I don't know. I didn't like think about the guards. And he's like, okay, I'm going to take out the guards and you run.
Yeah. Well, under the condition of this, save my sister. Have Zayd save my sister.
Yes.
Because he realizes he can't get his sister out.
Yep.
But Zayd can.
Yep.
So he tells Addie her name, her age, and her groomer.
Yeah. Yep. So she's like, let's make a deal. Get me out of here. Z will save your sister. Tell me her name, where she is, and he'll get her out. And he's like, deal. Yeah. And then he cuts her tracker out for her. And we learn that his sister is Katerina Sanchez. She's 15. And she's somewhere with someone named Lillian Perez. And he saw a picture of her 3 months ago, and she was standing in a sunflower field.
Yeah.
And that's all he knows. And Addie's like, you know what? My man's on it.
Yeah.
Get me out. And he's basically like, you know, I love the way that they say goodbye. Yeah. Because he still has fully accepted his fate, that he is responsible for Addie's torture.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before the accountability of like, so Zayd like goes after these men and they always plead like they didn't do anything wrong. You know, they plead for their life. Rio takes full responsibility and has accepted the fact that like he probably deserves to die for his hand in these girls like getting trafficked. Not just Addie, all of them.
Even though you can make the argument of like it's under duress. Yeah. Like there's somebody that it's not like how the other like Rico's friends who are in this world because they want to be.
Exactly.
It's like he was brought into this world because his sister was taken.
Yes.
Which adds a level of complexity to it.
Yes.
What he did was wrong. But it doesn't come from the same place of wanting to abuse other people. It comes from the place of only caring about one person, and that's his sister.
Exactly.
So there's like it adds depth and complexity to his character and to what you think his fate should be.
Yes. And I just love, though, that he doesn't
placate.
No, he doesn't tell Addie, like, try and, like,
please.
Yeah. He says, tell your man to give me a head start.
Yeah.
And that's all he asked for. He doesn't say, like, try and convince him, like, not to kill me or, like, whatever. He's, like, basically, like, I know
he's coming. Please give me a head start.
Yeah, exactly. And so, anyway, they say their goodbyes. And Addie has this, like, sense of, like, I don't know how long I'm going to be by myself. So she goes to the pantry to get herself granola bars and waters. And she basically takes, like, a plastic, like, grocery bag and is, like, stuffing it full. And one of Rocco's friends.
That's right. His name isn't Rico. It's Rocco. Is it Rocco or Rico?
Oh, so there's two. So Rick is the one that with Rio helped kidnap Addie. Rocco is Francesca's brother. And it's the friends that like are skeevy guys in the house are like Rocco's friends.
Okay. Is it actually Rocco? Because
yes.
The reason why I say that is because I keep seeing on Instagram videos of like, you know, Elmo
Yes.
has one of his friends has a pet rock named Rocco. And Elmo hates Rocco.
Yes.
And
Rocco doesn't need a cookie. He doesn't have a mouth.
Where it's like, I saw one where it was like, oh, Rocco doesn't like hang out with other rocks because he says that they're boring. And Elmo's like, Rocco is a rock.
Yeah.
And you're just like...
Yeah, exactly. Yes, his name actually is Rocco.
Okay.
So the guy that's sleeping on the couch is one of Rocco's friends. His name's Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
So Addie is like, okay, I gotta go get some supplies while Rio deals with the guards outside. So she's getting herself some water, some granola bars, and is trying to like sneak out of the house past Jerry without waking him up.
And Jerry is under like a drugged like mess.
Coma.
Right now, like coma. So
yes.
It's like hard to wake him up. But this scene, when I tell you I was having heart palpitations.
Yes. Absolutely palpitations.
As I was reading this scene,
I was like, Addie, fucking run!
Get your shit together.
Exactly, get your shit together and run. And then the bag breaks and a water bottle falls out and like thuds on the ground.
And you're like, shit.
She picks it up and like, okay, Jerry's still asleep. And then another one falls out.
When the other one falls out, I was like, you know what? Who needs water?
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
needs water? Like,
who needs water when you're dead? Like you're signing your death sentence right now with these fucking water bottles.
I know. And the unfortunate event happens where he wakes up and sees her. And she's like a doe in headlights, like
yes.
Like, and you're sitting there as the reader, like, Lord, please.
Yes. And so it turns out that she had also taken the two of the kitchen knives and put them in her bag with the granola bars and the waters. And so he's kind of like still like, you can tell that he was like drugged, but I mean, he's also a big guy. Like Addie like doesn't necessarily stand a chance to be able to fight him when she's super weak. She's been starved, like, you know, all this stuff, and she's afraid. And so he's basically like, well, no one else is around, like I get to have my way with you without having to like share you, kind of thing. And he's like kind of trying to like boss her around into like doing something, like, and she's like, just let me put my bag down. And he's like, fine. She puts the bag down, grabs the knife, and stands up and slashes him across the throat with the knife and kills him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
And he like thuds to the ground and is like bleeding out.
Yeah.
But this scene was so like horrible, like this scene was so stressful too, because like it's like as he's like trying to get his way with her, he's like actively trying to like undress her.
Yeah.
And she's like getting the knife, and when she like kills him, you're like, no, run.
Yes, exactly.
Please. And then she runs out, looks, and the two guards have their throats slashed too.
Yep.
So then I was like, oh, this, because the whole time you're thinking about this, you're like, what's gonna happen to Rio's sister? Because Zayd needs time to save her.
Yep.
Are they? So I, as the reader, was like, what's gonna happen? And then I realized like the fact that it ends up working out, because the fact that she slashed this guy's throat, and then the throats of the guards were slashed too, it's the same MO.
Yeah.
So I was like crossing my fingers, being like, hopefully they don't put two and two together, that Rio is the one who killed the guards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it actually worked out quite well. And so she like takes off out the house, heading for she decides to go like around, because she knows the train is like, yes, through the maze where they had the culling,
but they have too many booby traps.
It's booby traps. So she decides to like go the long way around, but she takes off, headed for the train.
Yeah.
And that's where
it
ends.
And you're like, oh no, did the whole house wake up? Like, what's happening?
Ah! Yeah, I can't believe it. We have such a knack for like,
picking the chapters where it
yes, where it ends, and we're like, like what? Like, and from there, but truly, like, I finished this set of 10 chapters before you did. And I was like, okay, I genuinely believe we are on the way up. Between knowing that Zayd was that close in chapter 19. Hope. And then now that like Addie got at least out of the house, I'm like, okay, I feel like hopefully the worst is done. and we're like
we're on the up
on
and
the
up.
up and up.
You just gotta survive, girl. It's run, survive.
I know.
Run, survive.
But it's like some of the thoughts that I was like reading chapter 20, I was like, oh, like I was stressed. I was stressed. I was sweating. My blood pressure was high. I was like, Addie, this is why you double bag heavy shit. Like,
I guess she's never worked at a grocery store.
I guess not. But I understood. At first, I was like, oh, like, at least she had the foresight to grab food and water. I don't know that I would have. I feel like I would have been trying to get the hell out of that house.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I'm like, my body's been in starvation mode for this long.
It can hold off a little
hold off a little bit longer.
I think I definitely would have grabbed water, and I would have grabbed, like...
The knife?
I would have grabbed, like, yeah. I think I would have grabbed water and the knife. I don't know if I would have had the, like, guts to grab a bag. Because, you know, bags make noise.
They're crinkly.
And they go...
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like...
Yeah. So that whole thing, I was like, ooh, do I feel like she's being really smart or do I feel like she's being really dumb?
Well, it would have been great, too, if, like, there had been some backpack lying around. Because it's a house full of drugs. And, I'm assuming there's somebody carrying a backpack. She could dump out everything and, like, put water in it. Whatever. It happened for a reason. And all we know is she's out the door and she's running. So...
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Yeah, and so when you go back to like our first episode from this book, we were like, okay, the author had left a note in the beginning of like, it's not going to be a quick reunion. Mm-hmm. And we kind of had made the prediction of like, okay, so do we really think that Zayd is going to find her or do we think that she's going to get herself out?
Yeah.
And it's kind of seeming like she's
going to get herself out.
Getting herself out.
Yeah.
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 Knowing that Zayd is probably like hot on her trail because Claire let it slip of like, oh, Jillian and Gloria got saved.
Yeah.
Which like, how stupid can you be to like divulge that?
It's entitlement.
Yeah.
It's entitlement. It's the belief that you are untouchable.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why I feel like villains in series, the villains who are like paranoid.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are the toughest to get because they dot their I's and cross their T's.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the ones that are entitled and get cocky.
Yeah.
That like lose their footing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I
didn't think about that. Yeah.
And then we have to put the book down.
Yeah.
And wait to read the next 10 chapters.
I know. I think do you want to end there? Because I don't think we can really make predictions. Because at this point now we have read, because we had some technical difficulties that with these last 5 chapters not recording. So we were like, oh, are we going to wait and record those 5 chapters again before we start reading the next 10? And we were like, no, we deserve to read the next 10.
Yes, because it was like super late and we were like, we deserve the next 10.
Yes, exactly. So we ended up deciding to read the next 10. So I don't think we should do any predictions, but
yeah, same. But just as a general reminder, take care of your mental health. We know that there's a lot that's like going on in the world right now. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming out about like the Epstein files and stuff. So just take care of your mental health and always like, it's okay to put this book down.
Yeah.
It's okay to put it down for a little bit if you need time. If you need a source of like hope, you know what I found out a couple like a while ago? Tim Tebow, the football player
from the UF
alumni. He actually is heavily involved in stopping like human trafficking.
My man. Nice.
Yeah. Has an organization, has like a hospital in the Philippines too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. Very
nice.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I was telling Erin, like, this is something I got cut off from the other episode, but like reading this book has made it so that I am like the first real big girl paycheck I'm gonna get. Like, I'm gonna look into organizations that do this kind of work of like helping find kids and rescuing people. Yeah. So that you can support. Yeah. You know, pick the thing that you want to support it. Yeah. And I feel like something positive has to come from this book. Yes. And I feel like the thing that I have learned so far from this book is that there's like a lot of acknowledgement that needs to happen where like I found myself, I think I might have said this in the beginning of what will be this episode, but just in case it got cut off, I'll reiterate the point of like, when we first started this book,
when chapter 8 happens, and that's the first like bad time that Addie is abused, I kind of was like, you know, looking at it like through squinted eyes, like, I don't really want to read this. Okay, it's over. And then I would, you know, like kind of skimming that. Yeah. And I realized that that doesn't do justice to the stories for people who have actually gone through this stuff in real life. Because like, honestly, that's the way that a lot of people behave in the real world is like, oh, that's like scary and sad. And I don't want to hear it. Yeah, and I don't want to hear it. And it like, it's kind of the like, yo, like I'm the one that went through this terrible thing. Why are you
covering your eyes? And like,
yeah. Exactly. So I feel like even though, I'm not gonna lie, this book definitely affected my mental health in the sense that like I had to put it down. I had to like do some revisiting of like books that make me happy. You know, like I had to definitely grapple with it. But I will say, I feel like this book truly did open my eyes when I started to actually sit down and like not brush through the bad scenes, you know, that I was like, wow, this is what people really do go through. And I feel like there's a power in being able to like give stories the light of day. Yeah. I guess is where I'm going with that.
And the people who go through horrible things and suffer horrible trauma, it's like we deserve to look at their pain as they are the people that experience the pain. Yeah. And not look away as if it's like, as if it's their fault that they experience this pain and that we can't look at them because of it. Exactly. That's not what we should do.
Very well said.
And it's so interesting that you even say that, because in the clip that I saw of Tim Tebow, he was telling the story of how he was at a charity golf function playing with like men who are like really important in whatever state he was in and that had a lot of resources. And he got a call about like 8 girls that were saved from like a kind of like ring or like child abduction thing. And one of the guys was like, oh, who's calling you? Or like, what happened? And he's telling them the story of these girls that were saved. And one of the men go like, stop. I don't want to hear about this. Like, it reminds me of my kids. And Tim Tebow literally says like, I in that moment, I was just so short with him, because he said to him, now tell me, if those 8 girls could hear you right now, what hope would they have?
Yep. Exactly.
And it's that we need to have the strength to be able to look at these things, because you can't stop things or prevent things that you brush under the rug.
Exactly. Talk about the horrible thing. Yeah. Because the less that you talk about it, the more power it has. Yeah. Over society, over individuals, like all of it, you know? Talk about the horrible thing, because the more you talk about it, the more that people realize we have to do something about it. Yeah. So on that note, I will say, even if this one is a little dark for you, never stop reading, and we will see you next time. Bye. Bye.